being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Policy. If you want economic policy, if you want domestic policy, if you want secure borders, if you want public safety, if you want all of those policies, Donald Trump's your man. No doubt about it. If you want flowery speech, Kamala's your person. Vote for her and you will get nothing. This country was founded on laws. We believe in the laws. If we follow those laws, this country will be great. Donald Trump will do exactly that. He will make sure that we follow those laws. This country will be great again. Donald Trump for president. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage from the National Border Patrol Council, Paul Perez.
Good afternoon, Arizona. My name is Paul Perez. I am the president of the National Border Patrol Council. We are the Border Patrol Union that represents the 16,000 Border Patrol agents. We are representative of them. They are the frontline men and women who are out there every day protecting this country. I have served for 27 years under 5 presidential administrations. I can tell you there's only one president that actually secured the border the way it needed to be secure, and that was President Donald J. Trump. Kamala Harris has destroyed this country. She started with the border. She was the border czar. The policies that they dismantled, that President Trump left them, a clean and secure border, have led to millions and millions of people including thousands of murderers, rapists, and robbers who have come from other countries unvetted and been released into this country. They have committed crimes. They have committed a multitude of murders in this country. Donald Trump supports legal immigration. So ask yourself, why is it that the government puts a cap, a limit on legal immigrants coming into this country, but Border Czar Harris lifted the cap, lifted an unknown number to allow millions and millions of people to come in unvetted and destroy this country? They have allowed gang members, terrorists into this country. Tren de Aragua, TDA, MS-13, the Mexican drug cartels, all who have profited off of the policies of border czar Kamala Harris. The only person that can step in and fix the border and end the chaos, the pandemonium, is Donald J. Trump. This November, everybody needs to wake up that isn't already woke, but the right woke, meaning they know that the democratic policies that are seeking this country are full of crap. We need everybody to go out and support Donald J. Trump in November. In your state of Arizona, TDA is active, just like they are in Colorado, just like they are in Texas. Lock her up. Exactly, lock her up. There is only one person who can fix it. One person that will hold the criminals accountable, who will enact a mass deportation of all these millions of people that came in illegally. The illegal aliens that are destroying this country will be gone after this election because Donald J. Trump is going to remove them. The men and women who I represent, who are out there every day putting their life on the line to defend this country, want the handcuffs taken off. And we know that only Donald J. Trump will do it. This is a man who has taken a bullet for this country, who puts his life on the line, who will never surrender. So let's give him the support that he needs in November to take this country back, end the craziness that's going on the border, and finally secure it so that we can have peace for all of us and for our families. Thank you very much. Donald J. Trump.
All right, everybody, how you doing? Sorry for being so late. Had some family stuff to take care of, but I'm here now. Nothing wrong. We just had so much going on. The kids wanted to go on the go-karts, and then we had to go do some shopping. But I'm here. I'm here. Hope you guys can all hear me. But thank you for waiting. Those of you who decided to wait, you're not going to miss a word that Donald Trump is going to say. And we're going to basically see who these speakers are in a obviously sold out venue and at Prescott. I think some of you guys think it's called Prescott. It's not Prescott, it's Prescott, I was told yesterday. Tell me if I'm wrong. How's you doing, everybody? Good to see everybody. Sorry I had to rush and get stuff doing. Wasn't able to get the full pre-show put together. But you know what? Instead of like rushing and trying to put something together for this show, we're going to let Trump speak. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to let Trump speak. And then after Trump speaks, then 7 o'clock tonight or so, maybe 7:30, I'll go live with a full show and we'll take it from there. So How's everybody doing here? Let me just make sure everything is set. Everything is working. That's working there. Oops, what did I just do? Hold on 1 second. Okay, and turn on. And we are live. All right, so I can start just taking some comments as we wait for Trump to show up here. Some of the pre-speakers you have heard were coming from Border Patrol. So this is going to be a big thing as they talk about the border today. I'm not sure. I may have a video I can get up here real quick. It is an absolutely stunning video. I mean, stunning. It happened on, if you haven't seen it, it happened on ABC News this morning. One of the Sunday talk shows. I was gonna talk about it today in a full video, but since we're here, I might as well show it. So this is, if you haven't seen it, this is Martha Raddatz. And Martha Raddatz is talking to J.D. Vance. Kamala Harris is in such a bad way. What they're trying to do at this point is utterly insane. They are trying to euphemize gangs taking over. Oops, might have stopped. Gangs taking over complexes. Let me put that on so the dog doesn't bark in the background. Let's go.
The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border? Americans are so fed up with what's going on, and they have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions, most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this. Kamala Harris, 94 executive orders that undid Donald Trump's successful border policies. We knew this stuff would happen. They bragged about opening the border, and now we have the consequences, and we're living with it. We can do so much better, but frankly, we're not going to do better, Martha, unless Donald Trump calls this stuff out. I'm glad that he did.
Imagine talking to the American people, openly telling them it's only a few things that they've taken over. Yeah, just a few apartment complexes. What's the big deal that these gangs have taken over these apartment complexes? Not a house, not a single apartment complexes. What are you guys making a big deal about? I mean, seriously, these gangs need to eat too. Why are you so upset? Wow, I can't believe you and Trump are making a big deal about a few apartment complexes being taken over in one city by a gang. Oh, you're blowing it out of proportion. You MAGA people, you're too much. You don't understand. It's only a few. Why are you bitching about it? She actually said that for the world to see. Think about that for yourself. Let that sink in. A major news organization in America hates you so much that they're telling you to accept your apartment complexes being taken over by Venezuelan gangs violently. If I didn't see that myself, there is no way anybody could write that in a script and hand it to me and say, hey, Barry, listen, here's what's going to happen. ABC News is going to do a report today, and they're going to come down hard on Trump for making a big deal about apartment complexes being taken over by violent Venezuelan gangs. In my wildest nightmares, I would not have think we would see in the American media be such a cauldron of pablum that they are so in the tank for the Democrats that they're willing to sell out other Americans. So I'm pretty sure what they're going to be talking about in this rally today is exactly that. You are vulnerable. You are in danger. They don't care what happens to you. I don't know why you would sell out Americans in favor of Venezuelan gangs. I can't even think why that would be okay. And then you euphemize it by saying, it's only a few, man. Chill. It's not like it's 10. You know, when it gets to 10 and they've taken over the homes of, 600 people or so, collectively all the apartments, and they're collecting all this rent and keeping it for themselves and doing God knows what when they're walking around the halls, then maybe we could call it a big deal. The people of Aurora, Colorado, people of Arizona, you have a decision to make. You have to understand at this point that it's obvious they don't give a shit about you. You mean absolutely nothing. People, North Carolina, they don't give a shit about you. They just want you to shut up and stop complaining that you ain't got any water and you ain't got no food, and then it's starting to get cold outside. Will you please shut up? Only a few people died. Only a few people are going to have to suffer each night. We're only finding a few bodies here and there under the mud. What are you complaining about? Life is great for the illegals. Oops, I said the bad word. Hopefully people wake up in a different kind of way, like that speaker just said, and realize in 2 weeks, little over 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you have a choice to make. Whether or not you continue to allow not just the Democrats, but the media to treat you like bait. Look the other way while somebody's taking advantage of you. Not reporting at the top of their lungs, oh my God, this is awful what's happening to the good people of Aurora, Colorado. Violent Venezuelan gangs are taking over apartment complexes. We got to do something. But instead, what's the big deal, dude? Why are you and Trump making all this fluff about it? Get over it. I'm pretty sure, and I'm looking at the comments right now, and I'm pretty sure as we begin to take some of these comments, y'all have had it. I've said it here many, many times. It is now my mantra. At some point, people have to stand up and say, I'm mad as hell and I ain't taking it anymore. And mean it. And mean it. And mean it with your vote. And throw these people out of office. Throw these people off of television. Vote for any policy that says we need to shut this media down. Tonight's Sunday. For those of you watching during the live broadcast, tonight's Sunday. Which means at about 7 o'clock tonight, depending on how long a football game goes on, 60 Minutes will air. And 60 Minutes will air a stale interview. An interview that we've all seen, we've all discussed, we've all ripped apart. We all know it's fake. We all know it's fraudulent. We all know you're just posturing for Kamala Harris, but you're going to run it anyway. The media hates you. The media doesn't care what you think. You need to tell your friends, family, co-workers, everybody, if you're watching the mainstream media, you're being fed stale milk. The born-on date is long past healthy for you to be consuming that crap. It's going to give you diarrhea. It's going to make you vomit because it's all fake. How do I know that? Because we just watched it. When you're on Twitter or /X and you see the clips a week in advance and you're like, fake, 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 fake. It's incredible. How many people still consume this stuff and think they're watching news? I know that Sunday shows aren't really watched a lot. There's not a huge viewership. But how many people have to watch Martha Raddatz from ABC saying, it's just a few people? They're just taking over some apartment complexes. Get over yourself. White privilege, man. You got to let these people spread their wings since we brought them in here. How many people need to hear that? How revolting was it when you heard it? Whether you heard it just now for the first time, or if you heard it when she actually broadcast it. How revolting was it for you to sit there and see some elitist media person sitting in a safe studio that you can't get in without an armed escort put the key code in, point the numbers in. You can't even walk in there. She's completely safe. I'm sure when she gets off air, she goes to her doorman guarded tower in New York. She's fine. The Tres Leches ain't coming for her yet. See, that's what the part they always forget. They think that they're fine. It's not coming here. Do you think once these people have a foothold that they're going to stop with a few apartment complexes in Aurora? How long before they realize, hey, you know what? These people in Aurora ain't got much. You know what? These towers in New York City, these people got some jack. They got some money. They got some good stuff. They got jewelry. You know what? We need to take ourselves up to New York City. See if we can't take over a couple co-ops or apartment buildings up there. They always think it doesn't affect them, so they don't care. I'd like to buy the Tres Leches some airline tickets so they can go to New York and see what they can harvest up there. Have at it, boys. See what you can, make do with up there. I mean, I'm sure you're going to have to basically have some turf wars because there'll be some other people out there looking to do the same thing. But just find out what Martha Radis' schedule is as she's walking out to her limo to head over to the studios at, ABC. And just, wait for that limo driver to fall asleep. And when Martha Radis gets in, let her know it's just one newscaster. We're not robbing all the newscasters around the country. We're just going to take a couple. How would you feel, Martha? We're just going to take you, maybe George Slopadopoulos. Oh, we'd like to talk to Joy Reid, and maybe Rachel Maddow. That's it for now. Just a couple. Can we just take over a couple limos with some mainstream media hosts? Would you be okay with that? These people are abject frauds. They don't want your best interests guarded. They want you to be exiled. They don't care. Put the word in. I can't even think of the expletive I would insert because it's obvious if you would trivialize the taking over of apartment complexes by violent Venezuelan gangs. If you would trivialize what people who live there are going through, then obviously you're a psychopath. And you'll do anything to stay in power because you think that power is going to last if Kamala and her cohorts do what they want to. Obviously, Martha, and Joy, and some of you other people, you've never read some of these books. You've never read Karl Marx. You've never read what some of these people do in other countries. You didn't follow what happened in Cuba. They didn't go to the doctors and lawyers and rich people and go, you're going to be okay. Don't worry about it. You and your big house and nice cars and fancy law practice, you're going to be okay once Fidel takes over. What happened in Cuba? There was no cutout. There was no, we'll leave these alone. And it's coming because eventually you will run out of other people's money. That's what will happen. And then they're coming for you, Martha, Joy, Rachel, you too, Keith Olbermann. They're coming for you. Stephen King? Oh, yeah, definitely coming for you. RuPaul? You're at the top of their list, RuPaul. They don't get it. They think they're stepping in line and doing what the Democrats want. And they don't even understand that they are promoting an ideology that ends badly for everybody. That's all I got to say on it. Well, you guys got to say. They need to be asked if they would feel the same way if they were coming and getting their houses. I bet they would make a whole different statement. Of course they would. It doesn't even cross their mind that it would happen to them. It doesn't even cross their mind. They'll be out of a job soon enough anyway. Yeah, I mean, I hope when Trump wins, when he wins, that at that point, whoever's in charge of the SEC, when he appoints his people to be in charge of the FCC, that they do something about it. So I've just seen a notice here, and the notice is, I ain't even late. They just put up on the screen, Trump's not expected to speak till 5 p.m. So I would have had time to do the entire show, pre-show, and been ready, but this is good. But an electrical wire on your Trump sign, the sign stealing will stop. I saw that. The big question is what now? What now? The answer to that question is this man has to be elected. We have to get him elected. We have to allow him to bring in Elon, and we have to allow him to bring in Vivek Ramaswamy and Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. We have to let all these people be elected and then be allowed to do what you need to do to fix this place. But it's not going to be easy. There's Democrats who are already making waves about how they're not going to certify the election, how they're not going to do that. The same people who cried about January 6th for the last 3 or 4 years are now going to be worse than anything that ever happened on January 6th. Why? Because the government's going to be involved. You see, on January 6th, it was a bunch of people who were upset with what was happening in the government. These people weren't the government. They were people who were upset with the government. The difference right now is before you take all the orcs into account and all the 20 million people that they've got as sleeper cells throughout the country, people in the government are saying the things that they thought other people were saying on January 6th. Jamie Raskin, a sitting member of Congress, is saying, we're not going to certify it. Kamala Harris, the vice president who Trump's kicking butt over, is the person who has to certify it. Dementia Joe, he's demented. What happens when our government fails to act? I can't answer that question. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. So when you say what now, vote big and get them out. Here's a article that came out. 9 trucks with 1.5 million fraudulent ballots apiece. So roughly, you can do the math, 13 million ballots were used to do that word in the 20... By the way, you hear me saying it, right? You hear me saying that word because I can't speak freely here? Well, today, just to let you know, got some news for you. Today we did a soft launch of the membership stuff over on Twitter. And within, an hour or so, we had 100 people join, and I haven't even announced it. So I want you to go to Twitter, follow me. You're going to see, let me pull it up. You guys should do this. Oh, wait a minute. Let me cut. Well, we'll come back to that. Remind me. We'll come back to that.
We have a lot of very special guests here today, but I think we are all deeply, deeply honored to be joined by so many incredible patriots at the United States Border Patrol. For 4 years in the White House, I had the honor working alongside from the White House with these amazing patriots at Border Patrol who executed President Trump's agenda to seal the border shut, keep the illegals out, and keep America safe. Every day, those border agents were on the front lines, the men and women in green, fighting drug cartels, vicious killers, gang members, sex offenders, predators, and under Donald Trump, every single one of those criminals that they apprehended was kicked the hell out of the country. Thousands of lives were saved by those border agents implementing Donald Trump's agenda. But what happened in 2021? What happened? Kamala Harris eradicated every single Trump border policy that sealed the border shut. She not only annihilated our border, but she began using your tax dollars by the billions to smuggle, fly, bus, transport, and in every way possible, relocate illegal aliens en masse inside the United States. This wasn't just a case
of not policing the border, of not protecting the border, of not defending the border. This was the case of using the federal government to sponsor, orchestrate, and direct the invasion. They would take illegal aliens and they would load them up into buses and move them into your communities. A government-sponsored invasion. And now, as a result of that invasion, thousands of Americans have been brutally attacked. Thousands of Americans have been viciously murdered. Thousands of mothers and fathers have lost their children. What kind of human being, what kind of person would do this to their own country and their fellow citizens? What kind of person would resettle millions of fighting-age men from 150 countries, unvetted, into our cities, knowing with a certainty that they will rape, and they will murder, and they will kill innocents? We know the names of the victims. We know who Laken Riley is. We know who Rachel Morin is. We know who Jocelyn Nungary is. Amazing, beautiful souls murdered by illegal aliens that Kamala Harris let into this country. It is now your job and your duty, Arizona, to deliver justice for every one of these perished souls. It is now your responsibility and your duty to honor these sacred lives that were lost by sending back to the White House Donald J. Trump. In 23 days, you can right the most egregious wrong that has ever been perpetrated against our own people. A government that betrayed the lives and livelihoods of every single American family. I mean, again, just ask yourself at a fundamental human level. Take the story of Jocelyn Nungary, a 12-year-old, precious, extraordinary girl with her whole life ahead of her. 2 illegal aliens from Venezuela, from a vicious Venezuelan gang known as Tren de Aragua, set free by Kamala Harris into this country, and they kidnapped her, and they assaulted her, and they murdered her, a 12-year-old girl. Her killers let into our country, resettled in our country, freed into our country by Kamala Harris. That's not just wrong, that's evil, that's sinister, that's wicked. It is unforgivable. In 23 days, a righteous thunder of indignation of American voters by the millions will reverse these injustices, fire Kamala Harris, and send a leader, a patriot, a visionary, and a champion back to the White House named Donald J. Trump. And he will seal the border shut. He will send the illegal aliens home. He will kick out every single criminal gang, every criminal migrant, every trespasser into our communities. And he will stand shoulder to shoulder with the men and women of the United States Border Patrol in reclaiming America for the American people, for American children, American husbands, American wives, American dads, American citizens. Because this country, Arizona, it doesn't belong to illegal aliens. It doesn't belong to criminal migrants. It doesn't belong to foreign trespassers. This country, this republic, this civilization, it belongs to you. It is your inheritance. It is the birthright of your children, and it is up to you to defend it. So are you going to organize and mobilize and register so that we can send Donald Trump back to the Oval Office to restore the sovereignty of our territory and the freedom of our land? Can you commit to that, Arizona? Can you do the work, Arizona? Can you make America a safe, free, and sovereign nation once again? Thank you. God bless you. God bless Arizona, and God bless the citizens of this republic. Thank you.
Love his speeches. Love the way Stephen Miller just brings the heat. So while that was going on, I was doing some research. I wanted to show you guys how to basically join the private group, which is free for now. if you're in, you're in. You won't get any retroactive, charging. But eventually, we're going to be charging $4.99 a month. But first, we wanted to populate it, get people in there, basically, producing content. Unlike on YouTube here, where you can only leave a comment, on Twitter, you can post articles, you can post videos, whether you're sharing them, whether you want to create your own. It is a full community right now where you can begin basically engaging with other fanfare patriots and other people who may join, and just start talking to people and sharing stuff. That's how this stuff happens. So let me just show you what you need to do. So you need to go to, this is my X-File/Twitter, and you go here and you're going to see, well, first of all, follow me. Make sure you're following me. I got to have you following me. And then right here, you can click on here to join the community. It just launched, and already 90 of you are here. And once you click in here, you are basically try it out, whatever. Here's the actual community. And so you can just jump in here. That's me. Recorded a welcome meeting, and other people, as you're going to see down here, are actually posting. Here's Jeff, and here's Be Inspired, and here's Cat Snow. You can actually push stuff out. You can actually give people content to watch, content to see, and make it your own. So go ahead over there and join it. The more of you that get involved, the better. So one of the things that happened that I just saw some of the people talking about here, it's pretty bad. There was an apparent third attempt on Trump's life. This is getting real old for me. I'm tired of this. I'm really over it. Let me go ahead and click the article here. Bring it up so you guys can see it. Where is it? Here. All right. So let me move that comment so you guys can see it. All right, so close all these things here so you guys can see. Armed man, and this is breaking. Armed man arrested outside Trump's Coachella rally, and sheriff says it was a possible third assassination attempt. An armed man was arrested with weapons, obviously, otherwise he wouldn't be armed, outside of the Coachella rally. This was posted, as you can see. It just came out October 13th, which is today, at 4:31, which is 3 minutes ago. 3 minutes ago, we just found out from the news that a third assassination attempt was planned in Coachella. Local cops arrested an armed man outside Donald Trump's Coachella Valley rally on Saturday, and the local sheriff said it may have been a third assassination attempt against the former president. A third assassination attempt on former President Trump was thwarted at the last minute when local cops stopped a man armed with guns and fake passes outside his rally at Coachella. And I guess this is the police. It says the suspect was caught about a mile from the rally venue with a phony entry pass, according to police. He was also carrying a loaded shotgun, a handgun, and a high-capacity magazine. So he came armed for bear. We probably stopped another assassination attempt. The suspect, identified as Vem Miller, was intercepted by police at a checkpoint about a half mile from the rally entrance. He was carrying a fake phony press and VIP passes. VIP passes are those passes where people can sit behind the stage. Let me just breathe before you get too pissed off. Let me just tell you this. He never would have got the weapons into the event. I've been to Trump events. Many of you have been to Trump events. He may have been some nut triggered by the media, and he may say, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to kill me Donald Trump. And he had all these weapons on him. When he got out the vehicle, he may have said, I'm going to go in here, I'm strapped, and it would never happen. He would have been patted down. He would never have gotten near him in the press room or into the VIP seating behind him. That never would have happened. But that's besides the fact. And there's no trees that he could have. It was in the middle of the desert. Miller is believed to be a member of a right-wing anti-government organization, according to Bianco, and was plotting to take out Trump. Right-wing, huh? That's what you want to call it? Okay. He has a UCLA master's degree. That ain't right wing. I'm sorry, people. Nice try. That's not right wing. And ran for Nevada State Assembly, the newspaper reported. Miller was booked for possessing a loaded firearm in a high-capacity magazine and was released after posting $5,000 bail. Anyone else have a problem with that? Is it just me? Do you show up with phony press passes looking to take out Donald Trump with loaded weapons, ready to do your due, and they let you out of jail with basically paying $500, 10% for your bail? The bail bondsman? Hey, okay, you're free to go here. What? What? This guy is associated with some sort of organization, wanted to take out Donald Trump, and he walked away from jail in California. Do you now see how the government in place is working in cohesion with some of these nuts to try and take Trump out? We got a few weeks. It's 23 days, I think Stephen Miller just said, to keep this man alive. And then we got a couple months to keep him after he gets elected to get him inaugurated. That's why he was late yesterday. That's why he may be late today. They're having to do so much right now to make sure that his schedule, it keeps the bad guys at bay at this point. One day, I'm supposed to be there at 2, I show up at 3:15. And I'm going to take a different plane, and we're going to take a different limo, and we're going to do this different, we're going to do that different. We're going to change up everything so they don't know when I'm coming and going. Yesterday, he asked for a military flight, patrol so they could guard his plane. Don't know where that is. He asked for other military vehicles, Humvees and stuff, to escort him. Can you imagine having to ask Dementia Joe, hey, can you protect me? Looks like I'm going to be the president. Can you make sure I'm okay? Nope, we ain't got it. Sorry, we ain't got no money. The government hates you. The government obviously hates Trump, but they also hate you. They don't want you voting for this guy. And at any chance that they get, they're going to try. I'm disgusted. I've had enough. Who knows how much longer we have to go on with this crap. I mean, just crazy. Once he's elected, yeah, good point. Once he's elected, he needs to go into hiding and only do virtual speeches. We can't afford to lose Trump. Speaking of virtual speeches, on a good note, he has agreed to whatever they're going to do, whether it's going to be live or in a studio, but he's going to be interviewed by Joe Rogan. She is so done. Right now, it's all about him. There's nothing she can do. Even Saturday Night Live is laughing at her. She's a butt of a joke at this point. A real bad joke at this point. They sent the Secret Service to Iran. Barry saw where Biden is going to get the military plane, but we'll see if it happens. All right, maybe they're going to do it. What's it say? When you're done doing this live, I missed that. Hold on, there was somebody who said something about when you're done doing this live. I missed it. Too fast. Oh, here it is. When you're done doing this live chat, can I get a couple messages and then the messages disappear? If it goes blank, I'm on my cell phone. Do you get messages from cell phones? Well, I'm reading it, so I'm pretty sure if you posted it on a cell phone, we can see it. Greg Sparks says they treat Trump like they did us when the disasters hit. Give us your rate, and then they're little who like you. They don't like you, man. Yes, Rogan will be the final nail in the coffin for Kamala Harris. I hope tonight is. I hope people at this point see what's going on, watch 60 Minutes and go, this woman's a fake, complete fraud. Only God can protect Trump, and he is. Let's hope that continues. Shanas girl, I'm a new Christian, raw and unfiltered. These muffers can kiss my... I thought about you since the last prayer night, and something I want to recommend to you. If you get on X and follow me, go ahead and follow Russell Brand. Russell Brand is a new Christian, and man, is that dude on fire. Here it is. He's just been a Christian for a short period of time, and he's embarrassing me with his knowledge of the Bible and what the things he's been saying. He talked about how the hurricane, it was just beautiful. I'm like, wow, man, you're shaming me. I should be doing more myself. Please, Trump, do not do the New York rally. I'm going to tell you right now, the New York rally may be the safest rally he's ever done, other than the second Butler one. The New York Police Department is firmly behind Trump. They will make sure, and I'm telling you, they'll bring cops from all over the place. They will make sure he is safe in Madison Square Garden. Getting there, maybe another story. Maybe they can fly him in a helicopter and land on top or something. I wouldn't want him sneaking around the city where anybody with a surface-to-air missile can pop it down. But other than that, I think the actual venue will be fine. Yeah, Russell Brand is awesome. Just want to let you guys also know what I'm going to do in the forum, the community, to help people out. I'm going to post a list, a private list that I've curated over a period of time, which has a bunch of good reporters and good sources that you can follow and get some of their news as well, so you don't have to go looking around. Because people have asked me, well, Barry, who do I even follow on Twitter? Where do I find some of the stuff that you see? I'm gonna show you what to do that. Trump or nothing at this point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if they're all not out of a job, the Garden will be like Fort Knox. I firmly believe that. I believe that the Madison Square Garden will be the safest place on earth that night. Also, you have to think about this. Even though Kathy Hochul's a twit, I'm wondering what kind of back-channel conversations are happening with Eric Adams and Trump, because Eric Adams was attacked by the Biden-Harris administration as well. So we don't know what kind of blood's going on there. And we don't know what may happen in the next couple days, next couple weeks. There are people out there saying that the New York Appellate Court has thrown out Letitia James's case. That's not true. That is not true whatsoever. Do not believe people who are saying that. I wouldn't even follow people if they start posting stuff that it got thrown out. It's not true. What's true is, during the hearing about it, the judges looked like they were pissed off that the prosecution even did what they did, and they asked some really pointed questions that led people to believe that that it may be coming. So, with that regard, if that drops before his Madison Square Garden rally, which is on October 27th, in just about 14 days, 2 weeks from today, we could see some huge fireworks. I still want to get the message to him. So Trump people, Alina Habba, any of you people, go ahead and make this like New Year's Eve. Do the big ball drop. Make sure on every screen in Times Square, Trump's speech is being, played. Get 100,000 people, 200, 300,000 people downtown, right in Times Square. Make it safe. Oof, I would love it. Would absolutely love it. They probably, somebody said they probably already started the sweep of the Garden. That's what I say, Barry. Do that. Absolutely. Trump or America is over as we know it. They're actually rooting for that. Sad, but it's true. They're actually rooting for that. Let's see here. Pray for Trump, Vance. God bless them. Absolutely. It's crazy what this. Martha Raddatz and what she said today was just too much. Megyn Kelly said, "Yeah, hey, Yaz, what do you mean?" Megyn Kelly, said what is? I'm not really sure what you were talking. She wants to run for mayor. Okay. Hochul is just as bad as Cuomo. Yeah, I believe that. Eric Adams needs to get on board the Trump train. I believe so too. So we're at 4:46. They have posted that Trump should be up and ready to go at 5 p.m. What is this story? Where'd that go? What is this story about Tim Walz? All right, so obviously we can't discuss that here. But tonight I'm going to drop a video about Mr. Tim Walz. Let's talk about Tampon Timmy and the allegations against him. I went through it a lot last night. in terms of how I would respond if somebody said that about me, but he's just letting it out there. It's not even responding. God forbid if something were to happen to Trump, what would happen? I think what would happen is exactly what they want to happen. They want, and they know at that point, as much as people are trying to tamp people down and say, relax, don't let them goad you into anything. Don't let there be some spark that's going to cause, a civil war. With all their heart, I believe that's what they actually want. I believe they want that to happen. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. Attention, Barry, tell people to vote early. Yes, vote early. Vote early. Tim Waltz is toast. Maybe they'll try to flip him out. I'm not. When I say flip him out, bring somebody else in. I'm not really sure what they'll do. Democrats are useless. Somebody says buffering. Looks okay. Let me check. Make sure I see fine on my end. Yeah, I don't have any buffering. So unless they flip the switch on me again, we should be okay. So can't help you there. I believe that Eric Adams is going to switch over to the Republicans. That would be crazy, absolutely crazy. Barry, how many young? Oh, dude, stop asking me these pointed questions about Tim Walz. I can't answer them here. Hillary Clinton. You think they're thinking about bringing Hillary Clinton in to replace Tim Walz? That would be. It's not going to work. At this point, they know the only thing they can do is hopefully Trump won't be there to run. She's cratering faster than you can even imagine. I keep looking at even the so-called polls. They don't even know what to do to prop her up. She's unproppable at this point. There's nothing that's working. They're faking polls, and then when people dig into the polls, they're like, this is fraudulent. You're lying here. And I could go into every single poll. I could spend 2 hours going through every single poll. But there's two things that have not changed, and they're rooted in mathematics. And those two things are, you cannot make up that much of a drop of the black vote, and you cannot make up a drop of that much of the Hispanic vote. It has been baked in for so long right now. I told you for months it's over. Not a single pollster, none of them, not one, has even addressed that issue. And until somebody does, they're lying to you. And maybe I should just do a recap on that and say, Barry, why do you feel so strongly about it? Maybe I should do a recap show on that and show you historically how much of the black vote the Democrats are used to garnering. What is the usual take that the Democrats get from the black vote? What is the usual take that the Democrats get from the Hispanics? And if you look at those numbers historically versus where they are now, anyone who went through sophomore math will look at it and go, yeah, you can't make this up. You're done. And so and how do you know that's really true what I'm saying? What did Barack Obama himself try to do the other night, which poof, backfired? He tried to shame black men into voting for Kamala Harris because she's somewhat black. So you can tell your friends, you can tell your family, you can tell your coworkers, you can tell people you don't like, hey, explain how they're going to overcome this black vote trend. Let them go into conniptions and mental gymnastics and tell you. Forget all your polls. I got two questions for you. How do you overcome the difference in the black vote and Hispanic vote? That's it. That's all. Just go ahead and ask me that. Answer that. Because until you can confront that, I don't care what you're saying about the women, and I don't care what you're saying about the people who like, baby removal, and I don't care about the white dudes for Harris. What about the black men for Harris? What about the Spanish men for Harris? Can you do those numbers for me? Can you break those out? Let me see what they look like. Go look around. Go see how many people are actually talking about that. And that's going to tell you why Barry has felt so confident. Nobody has been able to rebut that as I'm saying it. To me, it's very simple. And if I have to do a show to show it to you, I don't care about Polymarket. I don't care about RCP. I don't care about the New York Times and Siena and Morning Consult. I don't care. I have 2 pieces of data that show me she cannot win. Prove me that these 2 pieces of data, that she can even overcome that. Because as it is right now, she cannot win. So tell me how she's going to regain those, just in those 2 pieces. I have just 2 questions. I am a simple voter, a simple prognosticator, a simple person looking at this election. It is very easy. How is she going to make up that gap in the black males, or black total, in less than 3 weeks? And I'll wait for your answer. And then I'm going to ask you the same thing about the Hispanics. Don't show me any polls. Well, she's leading in this poll, and they say she's neck and neck. I don't care. Those polls are lying to you. Go down the methodology and see where they address the black vote, and then how they try to fix it. And then go back to 2020, go back to 2016, go back to 2012, and go back to 2008. And just look at the history of the black vote. It may seem like I'm beating a dead horse, which would really upset Tim Walz, but I'm trying to tell you why I feel so confident, and why you can feel so confident until somebody can show you mathematically, not ideologically. I don't need to know anything ideologically. I don't care what you think. Show me the data. I'm a numbers guy. Numbers don't lie. I used to use that hashtag. Hashtag numbers don't lie. Show me how you're going to fix this. Dems write in, say they're very good cheaters and their polls will justify their win. Not if they show that. That's why you guys need to start talking about it. There should be a hashtag. Kamala can't win blacks. Well, she's going to win. Kamala doesn't have enough blacks or something. Say something like that. We're absolutely right, Mr. Cunningham. There's no way that the American people are that stupid. No. I mean, people are getting the wolves pulled over their eyes, but that fact remains if you just lift up the veil and say, hey, you back there, can you show me how she's going to, fix this black voter thing? No, ain't going to happen. Let's see. Foreigners are getting, stress is getting to Obama. Whew, how bad did he look? How bad did he look out there? It was crazy. Kamala's dead in the water. Absolutely. I'm convinced you're going to cheat. That's how. I mean, they're going to try, but again, go back to your math. The reason why they were able to do what they did in 2020 because it caught people by surprise. This time, people are looking. If there's only 1,000 people in a district, don't show up with 2,000 votes. It ain't going to work. So when you see these things like people like Scott Pressler putting out, and they're talking about, there's only so many registered voters in a district. And there's, 5,000 Republicans and 2,500 Democrats because Democrats aren't registering. And so there's 7,500 total. That means there's only 7,500 people that can vote. Not the truckloads that you brought in last time. Now we know there's only this many. What are you going to do? Barry, if it's just voting, she can't win except the fix is in. I understand that. You're not listening to what I'm saying. If there's not enough votes to fix, and this is why Trump keeps saying the methodology behind his mindset is make it too big to rig, is because of what I'm telling you right now. If there are only 1,000 people in a district, that's it. There's 1,000. That's the maximum amount of votes. Unless they can figure out a way to make it 1,000 to 0 in that district, which, they may do some funky stuff there. But if there are only 1,000 people that are going to vote in this district, you cannot have 2,000 votes. So all these people that they brought in, they would have to have the registrations to match that number. You see, if they brought in 30,000 people in Springfield, Ohio, and these 30,000 people, which are here now but weren't registered, and there are only 50,000 people in the entirety of the city, You can't have 80,000 votes. That's what I'm trying to try and show you, that difference there. She's not black. Check. Yeah, I watched the Candace Owens thing. Real Dog just posted that caught on camera. Tim Walz almost. If you haven't seen that, we can talk about that. They wanted to send Tim Walz out there on a masculinity thing. Show Tim Walz as an everyday guy. He's the guy. He's the man. We can get him out there. And so he goes out there looking like Elmer Fudd, and almost shoots himself because he didn't know how to load a shotgun. So there goes that whole persona. We all knew that, though, because we saw the jazz hands. We knew that guy wasn't loading crap. You do understand she is the one who has to certify the vote. They are crooked as F. Yeah, but you can't. We all know they will try, but there's a certain amount of things you can't do. You just can't arbitrarily do it. Trust me, and I know they're going to try everything they can. They're going to go to court. They're going to do everything they can. We may not know who even wins the election. Well, actually, we will know who wins it. We won't know what they're going to do officially for weeks. But this time, I believe it's not going to prevail. And I just feel that way because I'm seeing some of the stuff that's beginning to happen. Barry's right. He won't even get 270 electorals to qualify. It's done. She's done. And what Mike is saying is, you can cheat, you can sue, you can do all these different things, but let's say, I don't know, where are they going to sue? Arizona, if Arizona flips to Trump? But what happens if he wins Pennsylvania? What happens if he wins enough states where it doesn't matter who you sue? I already got 270 banked. Let me just show you something. Maybe this will help as well in terms of understanding how the cheating is going to be very, very tough. All right, let me show you this. Let's bring this up. We haven't been here in a while. Watching the camera to make sure he hasn't been brought on. Okay, hold on. They're doing something. All right, so I want you guys to look at this map, okay? As you're looking at this map, let me move that comment. This is the entirety of the electoral map as it sits right now. And that they're showing Trump with 281 to the Democrats 257. So you can actually see what the voting looks like in their estimation right now. That's what they're saying based on the states that are red and the states that are blue. I don't personally agree with this. I think it's actually off. So here, let me show you where I think it's off. So it's based upon, and as you can see, it's based upon, for her to get to even 230, 257, it's based upon her winning Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. She's got to win all those. If you're looking at this from a perspective like, okay, so she's basically got to sweep the entirety of these areas. If she loses one of them, and this goes to red, let's say Wisconsin changes over and goes to red, she's done. I mean, you're approaching landslide territory, and that's just with one. Okay, so let's take that off the board, put it back to her. Let's say she loses Michigan. She's done. She has to win every one of these states. So let's say they go to court and want to sue and say, hey, we're not going to allow Michigan to be a part of this right now. So, but then Trump wins Pennsylvania. And if they wins Pennsylvania, as he's been saying, she's done. You're basically looking at a scenario where there are so many holes in the dike that they're trying to fill. It's just going to be almost impossible. If you're trying to tell me she's going to win Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, I'm going to have to say no. No, ain't going to happen. Pennsylvania is beginning to turn, and I think that's pretty much going to be over. So here's what's happening right now. They're getting ready for the Trump rally. I've got to step away for about 15 or 20 minutes. He was supposed to be on at 5, so I was hoping to fill the time until right about 5 o'clock and see if this guy's going to come on, because I've got to take care of something. Let me do this. I see all the news people, they're getting ready. He has not walked out as of yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a quick video I played last night. I got to step away for a couple minutes.
Los Angeles Times reporter Evan Halper captured California residents' joy now that Joe Biden has been installed. Listen to this. After 4 years of being relentlessly targeted by President Trump, who worked overtime to bait, punish, and marginalize California and everything it represents, California is suddenly center stage in the Washington policy arena. California is the new think tank for the Biden-Harris regime. Instead of Make America Great Again, the Biden-Harris plan is to make America California again. Now let that sink in. California, where businesses are taxed to death, where immigration laws are flouted, illegal immigrants are given sanctuary and all the welfare benefits they can collect, where environmentalist wackos prevent forest management so deadly fires routinely destroy millions of acres. California, where failing schools and high crime are the norm in Los Angeles, where San Francisco tourists used to get maps to help them avoid piles of human feces in the streets, until the entire state economy was locked down for the coronavirus, destroying small businesses and jobs by the thousands. But where Nancy Pelosi could still get her hair done, Gavin Newsom could party at an upscale restaurant when you couldn't. Make America California again? Well, that's a dream come true to hardcore leftists who think rampant, out-of-control socialism is a good thing. But to real America, it's just a coming nightmare.
Donald Trump came to the Detroit Economic Club and stood there in front of the Ford Motor executives and said, if you close these factories as you're planning to do in Detroit and build them in Mexico, I'm going to put a 35% tariff on those cars when you send them back, and nobody's going to buy them. It was an amazing thing to see. No politician, Republican or Democrat, had ever said anything like that to these executives. And it was music to the ears of people in Michigan and Ohio and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, the Brexit states. You live here in Ohio, you know what I'm talking about. Whether Trump means it or not is kind of irrelevant, because he's saying the things to people who are hurting. And it's why every beaten down, nameless, forgotten working stiff who used to be part of what was called the middle class loves Trump. He is the human Molotov cocktail that they've been waiting for. The human hand grenade that they can legally throw into the system that stole their lives from them. And on the election day, although they lost their jobs, although they've been foreclosed on by the bank, next came the divorce, and now the wife and kids are gone, the car's been repoed, they haven't had a real vacation in years, they're stuck with the shitty Obamacare bronze plan where you can't even get a Percocet. They've essentially lost everything they had, except one thing. The one thing that doesn't cost them a cent and is guaranteed to them by the American Constitution, the right to vote. They might be penniless, they might be homeless, they might be f***ed over and f***ed up. It doesn't matter, because it's equalized on that day. A millionaire has the same number of votes as the person without a job. One. And there's more of the former middle class than there are in the millionaire class. The dispossessed will walk into the voting booth, be handed a ballot, close the curtain, and take that lever, or felt pen or touchscreen, and put a big X in the box by the name of the man who has threatened to upend and overturn the very system that has ruined their lives. Donald J. Trump. They see that the elites who ruined their lives hate Trump. Corporate America hates Trump. Wall Street hates Trump. The career politicians hate Trump. The media hates Trump after they loved him and created him, and now hate him. Thank you, media. The enemy of my enemy is who I'm voting for. You, Joe Blow, Steve Blow, Bob Blow, Billy Bob Blow, all the blows get to go and blow up the whole goddamn system because it's your right. Trump's election is going to be the biggest f*** you ever recorded in human history. And it will feel good.
Rain or shine, I'll be voting for Donald Trump on election day. Tornadoes, hurricane, I don't give a Dingo, stop. And if there's a tornado dropping in the background, I don't give a shit.
Together we will rebuild, we will recover. Please keep your faith, hold strong, and look out for one another. We will come back stronger, bigger, better than ever before.
I'm walking to my polling place. I'm gonna cast my damn vote. Let's go.
Chairman of Homeland Security, I impeached Alejandro Mayorkas. He has tied, and Kamala Harris, who President Biden appointed to be the border czar, no matter what the media says, he gave her that job. How's she doing, Arizona? 12 million immigrants, 2 million unknown people, and we know they came in, but we don't know who they are. Hundreds of thousands dead to fentanyl. Thousands of children lost. Story after story of rape and murder. Again, I ask you, how's Kamala Harris doing on the border, Arizona? Donald J. Trump secured our border. Migrant protection protocols remain in Mexico. 500 miles of border wall. Well, there's about 1,500 miles left to go. We need this man back as President of the United States. Nobody. This president loves this country more than he loves his life. I give you the former and the next President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
All right, he's coming out, so you guys know I can't play the music until he's actually done talking, but I can show it to you, but we can't play the music. So just hold on 1 second. Your sound's not dead. They're just playing music. As I've mentioned many a times, if I play the music, I get dinged by YouTube. So just hold on a second. He's coming, and we will show. You won't miss a single word of what he has to say. Not a single word. Let me go ahead and go on the other screen so you guys can see my cut. There I am. I'm here. Just got to make sure I wait until he actually gets to the stage. Once he gets on stage, we will go full screen without the music and hear him talk to the people of Prescott, Arizona, which I'm sure he will be talking about immigration. I doubt he's going to be saying much about the third assassination attempt. Security, he doesn't want to talk about that. That's not what's important. What's important is that this man gets elected, is able to do what he needs to do, fix America. And I can see by the look on his face, he knows this is in the bag. He's going to win this, guys. He is going to win this. There's nothing she can do. There's things other people can do, but we just got to pray protection over this man so that he gets into the office. So the music is playing. As soon as he walks up to the mic, I will then click the button and you will hear Donald Trump speak to the people. It should be moments now. You'll see him as he walks up. That's my Chihuahua you hear grunting in the background. Right, Minus? Yeah, I'm grunting. He's playing on a Sunday afternoon. We just had the family here. Okay, it looks like he's just about ready. And then I can go to the full screen and we can let this man make his talk. All right, here we go.
Thank you.
Let me know how it sounds. It sounds a little hotter today. Good sound. Let me know how it sounds for you.
Very big hello, Arizona. We love you, Arizona. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's you. You are hardworking and you are patriots. Early voting by mail. We're finally there. Take back our country. Early voting by mail and in person opened in Arizona earlier this week. So if you have a ballot, return it immediately. And if not, go vote. Get your you-know-what app and vote. The minute the polls open tomorrow, you'll be there. And get everyone you know, because we want to take back our country. We're going to take back our country. And with your help, 23 days from now, can you believe it? We're going to win Arizona and we are going to defeat Kamala. Shouldn't be running. She shouldn't even be running. She didn't get any votes. Say what you want about Biden. I'm not a fan of Biden. I'm no fan. Nobody's a fan of Biden. But you know what? He got 14 million votes. She got none. I'm the only one that has to beat two people, not one. You know, everyone else. Historically in history, you've got to beat one, I got to beat two. They never make it easy for us, but she's going to be easy. I have a feeling that he would have been tougher than her. But we're going to usher in a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. What Kamala and her radical left cronies have done to the state of Arizona is a crime that can never be forgiven. What they've done to us and what they've done to us on the border can never be forgiven. For 4 straight years, she's imported an army of illegal alien gang members and migrant criminals from the dungeons all over the world. Not South America, all over the world they come. From prisons and jails, insane asylums, mental institutions, from Venezuela, from the Congo, all over. And she's resettled them into your communities to prey upon innocent American people. If Kamala gets 4 more years, the entire country will be turned into a migrant camp, and that's what's happening. Millions and millions of people. When I win on November 5th, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. One of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gangs that Kamala has imported into our country is the savage Venezuelan prison gang known as Tren de Aragua. It's a vicious gang. Well, we have them all. We have them all. They're all represented now. MS-13, vicious. They're all vicious. We'll have a contest. Who's the most vicious? We'll figure it out. Because they're all in our country now. People we never had in our country like this. Remember when she went around saying, no, the migrants that come in are very nice people. No, they're not nice people. No, we're not getting the nice ones. We're getting people that levels of crime and violence and viciousness like you've never seen before. They make our criminals look like nice people. They look like nice people. These people know it better than anybody. Border Patrol. Border Patrol. They're the greatest people. The best people. And they want to do their job. They don't want to be held back. They want to do their job. They'll do it. They'll end it immediately. All we have to say is, do it, right? Do it. One call. Do it. You know, I listened to her saying all the time, we couldn't get a bill passed. I never had a bill. You know what I did? I called them up. I said, close the border. There was no bill. Did I have a bill? I never had a bill. Right? I said, close the border, and the border was closed. And then we had the best numbers in the history of our country at the border. And that included, by the way, drugs, and it included traffickers, women, mostly they deal in women. Let me see the chart, my all-time favorite chart, by the way. See if you can drop it down. I didn't tell him I was going to. Perfect. See, that location would not have worked. You understand that? I would have turned too far. When it was over there, it was perfect. But you see the arrow on the bottom? That's the day I left office. That was the lowest number we ever had in the recorded history of our country. So, yeah, you'll sit down. Sit down. See, I got him to sit down, right? I could see this handsome guy. He's going crazy. Well, they're front row Joes, you know. We got to be careful with those front row Joes. But no, that's the best number that we've had. And look what happened afterwards. It was like an explosion, like a rocket, like Elon's rocket. Did you see the way that sucker landed today? What was it? I looked at it and I said, oh, that's too bad. Oh, that's too bad. It's coming down so fast. I said, oh, because he's our friend. We want our friends to be successful, and he's really been our friend, right? So Elon's rocket's coming down. And I saw where the engines came down. That was our first. A couple of years ago, I saw engines come down. I said, that was great. I said, why do you do that? He said, engines are very expensive. We can save them with certain formulas. He's given me these formulas. I'm saying, forget it. You don't have to be that specific. And now the whole thing landed. I never saw anything like it. And it's been through a lot. You know, you look at it. It was a beautiful, white, shiny thing. Now it's burned to a crisp, but they landed. It needs only a new paint job. That's a lot cheaper than building a new one, right? But that was coming down. I looked at it this morning. I said, look at that. Oh, no. That's terrible because it was coming down so fast, and all of a sudden, boom. And it's like got this much on his side. We're going to have to get Elon to explain that, but another time. First, we have to get elected, right? Okay? But he's on our side. He's on our side. You know where he is today? He's in Pennsylvania campaigning for us. Not me, for us. Can you believe it? And he's a great guy. He endorsed us. That was a great endorsement. We had Bobby Kennedy. We have so many great endorsements. Tulsi, great. Tulsi Gabbard. We have so many endorsements. We have endorsements. I could stand here and read them all night long. You know, we had endorsements, the 300 biggest people, biggest people in the administration, national security people. Robert O'Brien is the one that I think really led the charge. Robert's around here someplace. But he had 300 plus, the biggest people in government, even from other administrations. They said Trump's the greatest president, Trump's the greatest for security, which is true. Which is true. And I said, this is a big story. Wow, this is a great story. I love it. And they put it out. And the fake news didn't pick it up. They don't. If we have one sleazebag against because I fired him, you know, the only ones, they always go, whenever you fire somebody, they always go against you. But one sleazebag because I fired him, they make it front page news. When I get 319 of the top people in the country, in the world, some of these people, some names in there you wouldn't even believe. I mean, I don't want to get personal, but there were some names in there you would be surprised at, frankly, because I had my little spats. But I appreciate it. No, it showed that there's a certain love of a country when they do that. I really mean it. And Robert, I want to thank you and Rick Grinnell and all the people, because that was beautiful. But when I saw that list of the best names, the biggest names in national security and security generally and law enforcement, I said, this is a big story. Well, that's great. And I looked up the next day, I looked at the newspaper. Didn't make page one. This, 2, 3, 4. It never made the newspaper. But that's the way they treat us. And we're leading in the polls. How come you're leading in the polls and you can't? How the hell does that work? How does that work? How does that work? But you know why? Because the people are very smart. I found out that people are very smart. But you've been reading this because this has been a big one in Aurora, Colorado. You have a very weak governor. He's totally beside himself. He's a radical left Democrat. He used to come into the White House. He was so nice. Sir, yes, sir, you're doing a great job as president, sir. And now he says only bad. You know, that's the way it goes. It's a tough business. It's a nasty business. But in Aurora, Colorado, and communities in all 50 states, this Venezuelan gang is terrorizing law-abiding citizens, including taking over the multiple apartment complexes. And let's take a little look at them. They're not nice.
You see, the video shows a group of men walking up a stairwell at the edge of the Lowry apartment complex in Aurora. They all then gather around a door and go in. Another video clip shows men forcing a door open.
This is a picture of gang members breaking into a vacant apartment so they could move a Venezuelan family in and then collect rent. This is our business plan, one gang member told a housekeeper. If he, the property manager, doesn't like it, we'll fill him with bullets.
Region say a Venezuelan gang known as Tren de Aragua has victimized thousands through extortion, drug and human trafficking, kidnapping, and murder. Alvaro Boza, a former Venezuelan police officer now living in Florida, says he fled his country in large part because the gang had become so powerful they could kill law enforcement like him with impunity. Boza says a fellow police officer who refused to cooperate with the gang was shot 50 times. Now, U.S. law enforcement, including Customs and Border Protection and the FBI, say the gang has made their way into the country.
They have followed the migration paths across South America to other countries and have set up criminal groups throughout South America as they follow those paths.
We tried reaching out to the resources, but they told us since it wasn't actually a condemned building, we would have to wait until that was the issue, but we didn't want to wait for that.
We went out to some of Chicago's most violent neighborhoods to meet with current and former gang members who tell us that TDA first showed up when the city opened up migrant shelters in these areas, and that now the Venezuelans are trying to move in.
The city nonprofits have lined up to help the migrants that have come here, but nobody is helping the American citizens, the residents that are trapped.
They told us that they really couldn't do anything unless something happened. It is not by any means an isolated occurrence, unfortunately. I called 911, no help comes from me. No help. We were on our own and we were left to die.
As far as local law enforcement, I believe at this point that this is far beyond any one local law enforcement agency taking this on, and we need our state and federal partners to step in at this point.
Is this something that you need to take more seriously?
Nice fellas.
More seriously.
Nice fellas. No, they're in the real estate business. They take over apartments. I do too. I use financing. They use guns. Big guns, like better than our military has. Where do they get those guns? So we're now known all throughout the world as an occupied country. Can you believe it? They said, one of the papers said on another country that we are an occupied country. And you know what? They're not that wrong. But these gentlemen will unoccupy us very quickly. It's really no different than if we had a war and lost the war. But to everyone here in Arizona and all across the land, I make this pledge. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. It's going to be Liberation Day. It's going to happen so fast. Thank you very much. And under Kamala Harris, 13,099 illegal alien convicted murderers are roaming free in the United States, and 425,000 convicted migrant criminals are right now in the United States. But of them, think of this, of them, 13,099 are murderers, some of many murders, some scheduled for the life they were going to die very shortly. And they said, let's just give them to the United States. What the hell do we have to do the death sentence for? And they're in our country right now. And these are very tough, very dangerous people. They were there for a reason. But think of it, many of them committed more than one murder, and we have them now because we're stupid. We have stupid leaders, and we're getting rid of these stupid leaders. We can't have another 4 years where we have stupid, incompetent leaders. So I will rescue Arizona and every town across America that has been invaded and conquered. They've been conquered. They're conquering the towns. And you know, our governors and our mayors and you know, a lot of people can't blame them. I can't blame them. They don't want to bring it up. Two reasons. Number one, they are scared. They're very scared. Some of them are very scared. The governor of Colorado is scared. Radical left Democrat. If he was a Republican, I wouldn't say that. Even if he was scared, I wouldn't say. No, but he's got a right to be, in all fairness. But you know where they are? All the towns across America, they fly them in now. They fly them in beautiful big Boeing planes. They fly them in. They land in the Midwest. They land all over the place. So it's not just here. They fly them right over the top of the border. They tried to get away with one. 3 months ago, they were getting killed in the polls. So Kamala, I don't use the name Harris because nobody knows who Harris is. I say Harris. Everyone said, who the hell is Harris? I don't know what it is with that name, but it doesn't catch on. Can you believe Kamala catches on better than Harris? Who would believe this? But Kamala was flying them in, and she didn't want to tell anybody. She wanted to keep it secret, but we saw planes all over the place. They're flying them in by the hundreds of thousands, and they don't have to report that. They don't have to report it. These people are sick, and we're going to stop it. We'll put these vicious and bloodthirsty, and that's what they are. They're bloodthirsty criminals. We'll put them in jail. We will get them out of our country. We'll get them out fast. In Texas last year, an illegal alien released into the United States by Kamala was charged for sexually assaulting, strangling, and murdering a 12-year-old girl. You read that one. That was one of many, one of many. There's so many now. Before stuffing her body in a trash bag and leaving it under her bed for her mother to find. Can you believe this? Under her bed for her mother to find. Last September, these are animals. Last September, an illegal alien criminal with 9 prior deportations and many prior arrests shot and killed a man in his pickup truck before repeatedly firing at police officers and leading them on a car chase during which he shot and wounded an officer and very, very seriously wounded other people in the chase. And he was wearing a bulletproof vest. Isn't that nice? He had a bulletproof vest. And in Chicago this year, a Venezuelan illegal alien gang member who was set loose into the United States by the horrible non-border protection. It's a non-border. They let anybody come in that wanted to come in. I built hundreds of miles of wall I then, by the way, built more than I ever promised, but it was working so well. That's why we had the good numbers. And then I was going to add 200 miles more. Then we had a rather strange election, didn't we? We're not going to let that happen again. Not going to let that happen again. Remember, we did great in 2016. We did much better in 2020. Millions of more votes. But led in by these ridiculous non-policies. They had no policy. And what I said to the Border Patrol is right just a minute ago. All the president has to do, all she would have had to do is wake up the president at 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Say, Joe, get your ass down to the Oval Office and sign this. Well, if he'd signed what he signed for them, think of it, how did that happen, that whole thing? But you know what? When the president signs an order to close, he doesn't need bills. They made up this fictitious bill. That's the bill that was so bad, so pathetic, that it would have allowed millions of people to become citizens right away. It was a horrible bill, I'm fine with the bill. But you don't need a bill. All you have to do is you need a president. My father used to tell me, these guys that need letters, they'll come into my office, son, and they'll say, sir, thank you for the job. And, sir, could I have a letter saying that you've promoted me? Those guys never worked out because they need a letter. It was the ones that walked in and said, I'm the boss now, you're going to listen to me. They didn't need a letter. He always would say, anytime they wanted a letter of authorization, they never worked out. She didn't need anything. She didn't need a bill. All she had to do is have Biden call up the president, only the president, and say, close up the border. And instead, we're paying a big price. People have been talking about, they always rank the different things, and they rank, and I think the polls are wrong about a lot of things, although I don't want to say that now because we're leading, so let's leave them. They're only wrong when they give me a bad one. But we are doing great in the polls. We've done really great in the polls. But I think that the number one issue they have down is the economy and inflation, and I agree, they're horrible issues. But I think the number one issue is the destruction of our country, what's happened at the border. I really think that's actually the number one issue. And I don't care what a poll says, and it's close anyway, but I don't care what a poll says. It's the destruction of a country. What were they thinking? Who wants to have this? Who would allow this to happen where we have murderers, drug dealers, people from mental institutions and insane asylums? Who would allow this to happen to our country? This thug, led in by Kamala Harris, was arrested for shooting a 27-year-old woman multiple times, leaving her riddled body all full of bullet holes behind. And I cannot believe how they allowed this to happen to our country. It's happening at levels that I could recite crimes all day, all night for weeks. And this is just the beginning, because this is a new phenomenon. And I told you about this phenomenon. It's called migrant crime. It's a new category of crime, and it's probably the most vicious crime of all, because despite the fact that she said, oh, these are lovely people, they don't commit crimes. No, these are among the worst criminals anywhere in the world, and they come from all over. A huge number is coming out of jails in the Congo, because what's happening is countries and continents, but countries are releasing their prison populations into our country. And you know what? If I headed up any one of the countries we're talking about, I would have done the same thing. I would have done it even faster. Because who the hell can blame them? Who can blame them? In Venezuela, their crime is down 72% because they've taken the street criminals, they've taken the drug dealers and the drug lords, they've taken all of these people and they've busted them into the United States, and their crime is down now 72%, and it'll go still further because they haven't gotten them all out. But they're coming, and they've taken their prisons, and their prisons are way down, lowest number they've had in many, many decades, because they've moved all of their prisoners, and these are hardened people. They know better than anybody who they are. They know who they are without knowing who they are. And I will tell you something, what they've done to our country, they've emptied out their jails and prisons of the toughest people anywhere in the world, and they've dumped them into our country. And we're not going to take it. We're not going to take it. We're going to get rid of these people that allowed this to happen. We're going to get rid of Kamala and Joe. My message to the American people is very simple. No person who has inflicted the violence and terror that so-called border czar, she doesn't want that name anymore. She said, I'm not the border czar. Well, she was, but it doesn't matter if you call her border czar. She was in charge of the border, so call her whatever you want. She doesn't know anything. She can't answer the simplest question. She goes on these shows, and they're softball after softball, and ends up in a scandal every time she opens her mouth. You know, we had 4 years of that. We had 4 years of that. And, you know, in his case, he developed. She was born that way. And it's violence and terror that Border Czar Harris has unleashed on our country can never be allowed to become the President of the United States. Our country can't take it. Anyone who would import criminal gangs to occupy America cannot ask to be president. Anyone who orchestrated an invasion of America cannot lead America. Kamala Harris's reign of terror ends the day I take the oath of office. To expedite removal of Tren de Aragua. I have good luck with that name. Some people can't do it. They said, sir, why don't we just, they say TDR. I say, no, that doesn't sound too good. That sounds like a drugstore. I don't want to do that, of course. Nowadays, if you look at our drugstores, they do pretty good there. Do you see the drugstores? You can't get anything in certain places. You can't, most places. They have to put up glass in front because everything's taken. They walk out, they just take it. Do you know, she's the one that passed a law in San Francisco, destroyed, where if you steal $950 or less, you're not going to be prosecuted. Can you believe it? I don't think that Carrie Lake agrees with that particular law. You're not into that, are you? I think she's a tough one. This is what you need. I hate to say it. She's tough as hell. This is what you need. You need it. I watched her debate. I haven't even spoken to her. So I watched your debate, though, at about 3 o'clock in the morning. I watched that debate. It's, you know, the TiVo or its equivalent. I give it the greatest invention in history, TiVo or its equivalent. I watched your debate due to that kind of thing that we can do nowadays. You destroyed that poor guy. Man. You know, they have an expression, if that were a fight, they would have stopped it. But that was a destruction. But I don't know how many people, you got to make that into a movie or something. Anybody that sees that would never vote for this guy. He's a total lightweight. And this woman has given up a lot. She had great success, everything she did. You got to get her in. You got to get her. True. To expedite removal of the Tren de Aragua and other savage gangs, I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Can you imagine? Those were the old days when they had tough politicians. I have to go back that long. Think of that, 1798. Oh, it's a powerful act. You couldn't pass something like that today. Today, we're politically correct. Today, people kill and they end up getting out on bail in 2 minutes. No, this is a little different act. The Aliens Enemy Act, 1798, to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. 100%. And in honor of the great people of Aurora, Colorado, we will call this Operation Aurora, because they were the first to suffer with this group of thugs. And if they come back into our country after removal, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. No possibility. Not that we want to do it. But by the way, not that we want to do it. We all have big hearts, but you know, it's not sustainable. We're not going to have a country. It's not sustainable. You see what's going on with the cities? New York has a $3 billion bill. I always heard New York is low on funds. A $3 billion bill, and the federal government's not going to pick it up. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer. Thank you. They kill an American citizen or a law enforcement officer. And if you ever wanted to stop drugs as opposed to blue ribbon, I set up so many blue ribbon committees. You know, our First Lady did a fantastic job on this. She headed up a commission. And she got the number. And by the way, she wrote a great book. Go buy it. It's called Melania. And she says very nice things about me. I was worried. I wouldn't have. If she didn't, I wouldn't be talking about that book at all. I'd pretend it never happened. No, she's great. And she wrote a great book. I think it's the #1 bestseller now. Can you believe it? So go buy it. Melania. Go buy it. But Kamala's actions as the border czar are especially egregious. It's a betrayal of the brave men and women who devote their lives to securing our borders. They are treated so badly, so badly. They are treated so badly. It's so horrible. They're heroes, but they're not treated like heroes. But you know, I tell them all the time, the people know you're heroes. It's the radical left lunatics that don't treat them properly. I call them the heroes of ICE and the heroes of Border Patrol. They're incredible. And these courageous patriots, they risk their lives to keep America safe and our borders secure. And then Kamala came along and demanded that they aid and abet the invasion of our country, which really is what they're told to do, which they have dedicated their lives to prevent. And they are not happy. And she only bothered, if she only just did this, all she had to do is go to the border for the first time. You know, it took her, 3.5 years to go there? And then she went to a place that I'd love to go for dinner sometime with you people. She never went. She didn't go to the border for the whole time. It was a great insult. And I used to call them all the time. In fact, they thought I was a pain in the ass. I'd call them, how's the border going, fellas? How's it going, Art? How's it going, Brandon? How we doing? Paul, how we doing, Paul? How's the border, Paul? They would get my call. They say, this guy, he's crazy. No, I was not crazy. I want to have a strong border. And that's why we had that beautiful chart. My favorite chart in history. I sleep with it. I kiss it. Even if that chart had bad numbers, I would have loved that chart. That was my all-time favorite. Every night I take it to bed with me, I kiss it. But today I'm honored to receive, and this was an honor that I didn't know about till very recently, the endorsement, because it's very hard for them to do this, you know? It's very hard for them to do this. But the endorsement of the official union of the Border Patrol agents, the entire union is endorsing it. It's a great honor. They said it was unanimous, thousands of people. Thank you. And they have thousands of people. They said it was unanimous. And I will say I have the endorsement of almost every single law enforcement group, sheriffs and police, the Fraternal Order, 400,000. And it's hard for them to do endorsements. You know, it's not an easy thing to do, but there comes a point when you have really no choice. I'd like to thank the former president of the National Border Patrol, a friend of mine, Counsel Brandon. It's an incredible council, actually. Brandon Judd, who's here someplace. Brandon. Thank you, Brandon. And I'd like to formally introduce the new president of the council, another friend. They become friends of yours. It's like you're in a war together. When I was here, when I was running things, that border was a big deal to me. We wouldn't let people in. We had a year, would be 2019, where they said zero, and I think they were wrong on this, to be honest. They said 0 terrorists came in, 0. The following year, they said 11. Now they have thousands of terrorists pouring into our country. These are stone-cold, hardened terrorists. Bad things are going to happen. We're going to get them the hell out of here before they do, I'll tell you. But the new president of the council, another great friend of mine, is Paul Perez. And he joined by a very highly respected man, Art Del Cueto. Art Del Cueto, vice president. And maybe we could ask them to come on up. We're also joined very proudly today by a large delegation of our nation's frontline border agents. These are incredible people. So let's show our appreciation for their unbelievable service to our country.
America, I have a message for you. If we allow Borders R. Harris to win this election, every city, every community in this great country is going to go to hell. The untold millions of people, unvetted, who she has allowed into this country that are committing murders, rapes, robberies, burglaries, and every other crime will continue to put our country in peril. Only one man can fix that. That is Donald J. Trump. He has always stood with the men and women who protect this border, who put their lives on the line for the country. A man who knows about putting his life on the line for what is right. This November, we have a choice to make. Continue the chaos, allow the criminal cartels to control the border, to allow drugs and fentanyl across our country, or put an end to it once and for all. On behalf of the 16,000 men and women represented by the National Border Patrol Council, we strongly support and endorse Donald J. Trump for President of the United States.
Good job. I got to tell you, I was a little worried. He got up, he had no notes. He didn't have a teleprompter. I can understand that. I don't use it too much either. And it is nice to have people that don't need teleprompters, isn't it? But he got up here, and he had no notes, and you gave a perfect deal. I think we're going to all have to go back inside. That was a good job. Did he do a good job? Look at all these Border Patrol and ICE. They're great heroes. And I want to let you know, Paul, I want to just tell you and everybody, all my friends, I have so many of them in this group. It's an incredible group of people. I will always stand with the incredible men and women of Border Patrol. And today I'm announcing a plan to address the shortage. You know, we have a tremendous shortage because they haven't been treated right. They want to do their jobs. You know, they consider it bad treatment when you're not allowed to do your job. And that's the biggest problem. They don't want people running in front of them. They want to stop them from coming in. And that's going to save a lot of people, including the people they're stopping. but to address the shortage of Border Patrol agents caused by the catastrophic failures of Kamala, our great border czar, who's the worst in history. We have a tremendous morale crisis because of her and her policies. I mean, think of it. Not one of the leaders, you have all the leaders up here, you have all the leaders in the room, you have Brandon right over there, was a leader for a long time, brilliantly the leader, never got a call from them. Not Biden, he was sleeping, and not her. No, not her, she never called. Never once. I saw this, I didn't ask them, I saw this, and a reporter asked Paul, have you ever been called? No, I haven't. How can you do that? Most important thing, it's the fabric and lifeblood of our country, and they're destroying our country, and and these are the people in charge. So there's a big morale problem, and she ruined the jobs of a lot of these border agents. They went after people, remember? With the horses, do you remember that? Do you remember? That was a terrible thing. It turned out that they were totally wrong, but they went after a lot of other people, very innocent people. They go after those people, but they don't go after the criminals that are coming in to kill. They don't go after them. So in order to meet the goal of hiring 10,000 new agents, we need the agents. We need them badly. And keeping our incredible veteran agents on the force. Don't leave us. Raise your right hand. You're not going to leave. You're not going to leave. Don't leave us, fellas. I don't have to worry about them. They're very committed people. If we pay them nothing, they're not leaving. They want to save our country. They're going to save our country. But after I win, I will be asking Congress immediately to approve a 10% raise. I haven't had one in a long time for all agents. And a $10,000 each retention and signing bonus. So we're going to retain them. We're going to retain them. It's almost like being a great baseball player or football player, but not quite as much money, but not bad, right? No, we're going to retain them, and they deserve it. They've been treated unbelievably badly, and the fact that they continue. And you don't hear they're going out on strike, they're going to this, they don't do that. They would never do it. They're just incredible people. This will ensure that we can hire and keep the Border Patrol agents that we need to keep, and we can also bring in a lot of new ones, really great ones, and we're going to have our choice. I think we're going to have our choice. There's going to be a whole new spirit. This is a group that really needs spirit because they're protecting us, they're protecting our lives, they're protecting our country. So we're going to be doing that. And while you guys are up here, I also want to introduce a great guy and a very big man in the world of law enforcement, national president of the Fraternal Order of Police, Patrick Yos, representing 400,000 law enforcement, largest in the country by far, law enforcement officers, and I'm truly honored to have their endorsement as well. Patrick, thank you, wherever you may be. Thank you, Patrick. That's really nice. I'd have you up here, but I don't think Secret Service will allow anybody to get through this. It's gotten a little tight. That's good. That's supposed to be that way. Patrick, thank you. 400,000. Wow. That's great. I think we have every law enforcement group in the United States, the sheriffs. They're incredible people, and they really do. It's easier for them not to do their job. They want to work like hell, and they want to clean out our country and straighten out our country. And we want to have people in our country that love our country. They love our country. And we're going to have that. And despite all of the damage that Kamala has inflicted on the state, and, you know, don't forget, she's the vice president, right? But Joe gave her the assignment, and so I don't even mention his name. I'm not even sure what is he doing. Although he's looked very good lately. He's looked better than her, actually. No, I've always said, I'm not a big fan of his, as you probably have heard, but he's superior to her. He's more intelligent than she is. Can you believe? You ever think you'd be hearing that? And I mean it. But she said last week that she can't think of one thing that she would do differently. Not one thing. Think of it, not one thing. So, fellas, you stay up here, just look at this one tape, and then you go back and enjoy it. But I just want to tell you, you are phenomenal people. We love you all, and you're doing a great job for our country. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking 2 New York City.
18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition.
US inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
The cost of homes have spiked. Home buyers need to earn 80% more than they did in 2020 to afford a house.
Were you the last person in the room? Yes.
Did in 2020 to afford a house.
Were you the last person in the room? Yes.
Down there. Yeah. Appreciate it, Paul. Thank you. Thank you. You be blessed, sir. You be blessed. Great job. Let me come to Madison. You'll do it. Okay. I'll have you. Thanks. Great people. By the way, I see a couple of other people. Do you mind if I introduce to Cash? Stand up, Cash. Cash Patel. And I spotted him. You had no problems when he was in charge. You know who that is? Sheriff Joe. Sheriff Joe! Oh, stand up. Oh. Brandon, sign him up immediately. Paul, you got to sign him up immediately. Sheriff Joe. Well, you didn't have any problems with Sheriff Joe. He was tough and fair. You know what? He was actually very fair. He was amazing. Thank you very much, Sheriff Joe. I just saw you here. I would have had you come up. But you are a special guy. Thank you. He had a wonderful wife. He just lost his wife a little while ago, but she was a wonderful woman, and she's looking down at you. You couldn't have made her life too easy, I could guarantee you that. But she loved you, Sheriff Joe, so you take care of yourself, okay? Great guy. So the answer that she would do nothing different is totally disqualifying. So think of it. We have the worst president in the history of our country by far. The happiest man is Jimmy Carter because he was brilliant by comparison. His administration is considered now brilliant by comparison. We have the worst. And she says that she would do nothing different than the worst president that we've ever had. We have a right track, wrong track, where he sets a record every week for the wrong track. And she says that because it wasn't that she really meant that. What she really wanted to do, but she couldn't think of anything. When I heard that question, I said, oh, this is going to be a bad answer for me. Meaning she's going to knock this one out of the park. And she said, no, I want to be the same as Joe Biden. Anybody that votes for her, you should have your head examined. She wanted to know the truth. "86% of the country thinks we're on the wrong track." And she says, no, I do everything the same. Keep the airplanes flying. You know the worst thing? And I'll bring this up a little separately. 325,000 young children are probably dead or missing, but certainly missing. And they're either sex slaves, or they're dead. Think of the number. It's not 2, which is too many. It's not 100. It's 325,000 lives are probably gone. Their parents will never get to see them again. And these are people that she allowed just as if she had a gun in her hand, okay? And for that woman to be running for president is a disgrace, and everybody knows it. How can you keep someone who has stated plainly and clearly that she will change absolutely nothing from Biden? Kamala is turning us into a third world nation. Weaponization. How about the weaponization? I've been investigated more than the great Alphonse Capone, late great. You guys know Alphonse Capone, Scarface? This is a rough guy. I don't know. He may be even too tough for Paul. I don't know, Paul. This is a tough one. Alphonse Capone, Scarface. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. It's called the weaponization of the Justice Department, and we've never had it. This was a third world, happens all the time in the third world, banana republics. It happened in the United States, and can you believe I'm leading? Who the hell, where did it happen where you're leading? Because the people get it, they get it. All my life, I never had a problem. Now my beautiful parents are up in heaven. I think they are. Even my father made it there. He could be rough, but I think because he was a good person, strong, tough, but he was a good person. My mother, guaranteed. She's a guaranteed. But they're up there looking down. They say, how did this happen to my son? You know, I could have been on the most beautiful beaches in the world right now. I could have been enjoying a life, the waves smacking me in the face, my beautiful mane of hair blowing in the breeze. No hairspray, no hairspray necessary. The most beautiful places in the world. I own some of the greatest clubs. I could have had the greatest life. But I'd rather be in Arizona with you and these people all day long because we're going to make America great again. Right? Right? Thank you. With our victory, we will become the greatest, strongest, freest, and safest, and the most powerful nation again in the world. We're not considered a great nation right now, but we're going to be a great nation again, and it's not going to take long. I will quickly defeat inflation, and we will make America affordable again. We're going to have to do that. It's not affordable. And you know what people bring up more than anything? Simple things like groceries. They say groceries. Who would think that? Groceries. But they bring it up. Cars. They do a lot of different, everything basically. Look, we had the worst inflation, I think, they say in 48 years, I think ever. There's never been anything like it. And they don't even put the really bad, like as an example, we had interest rates at 2%. They went up to 10%. Well, they don't include that. They don't include many things. And by the way, at 10%, you can't get the money. So obviously it's much higher than 10%. For all of the working people struggling under Kamala's inflation nightmare, we will have large tax cuts for workers. We're going to have beautiful additional tax cuts, including no tax on tips. No tax on tips. No tax on overtime. And no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. And you deserve it. You know, the seniors have suffered because they're on fixed income, many of them, and the inflation has made it impossible. Everything they've taken in, and it's just gone. They're wiped out, and we're not going to do that. We're not going to allow that. Then they're supposed to pay tax yet. By contrast, Kamala Harris is known as the taxing queen. She loves taxes. She's the only one I've ever seen. She campaigns on the fact that she wants to give you a 70% tax increase. Her plan will raise your typical American family taxes by at least $3,000 a year. Congratulations. And run a bad and unsafe government. I also announced last week that we will make interest payments on cars, loans. We're going to make them tax deductible first time. Because affording a car is essential to restoring the American dream, which we're going to restore. You know, friends of mine called me and they said, some of the biggest analysts, the greatest analysts on Wall Street, brilliant guys, where did you ever come up with the idea of deducting interest? You know, it's like the paperclip. It was developed about 125 years ago. Some guy took a little, and he made the paperclip. And everybody says, oh man, why didn't I think of that, right? It's like deductibility. It's going to be incredible because you'll sell a lot more cars, and we're going to protect our car business now. We're going to protect them. Made in the USA, and we don't have to go through it, but made in the USA, and we're going to protect them with tariffs. I do have to tell you one quick story. You don't mind if I never go back on the teleprompter again, do you? No, I watch Paul, and I say, damn it, I don't think I'm supposed to use the teleprompter anymore, Carrie. You know? I watched the way. So I've been telling you a story for about a year that in Mexico, they're building some of the biggest car plants anywhere in the world. And I told you about a friend of mine who's a brilliant guy, but especially when it comes to building a car plant. With other things, he's not so good, but he can build a computerized car plant. It's unbelievable. So I saw him about 4 or 5 months ago, and I said, you know, I want you to take me on a tour of one of your plants. He's the biggest builder of plants in the world. I want you, so you'll be able to figure them out if you really want to. I don't think the fake news, wow, that's a lot of fake news back there. That's a lot of cameras. I didn't even notice. That's a lot of fake news. Holy mackerel. Look at those red lights go off. Those red lights, those suckers are going off. Every time I do that, those lights go off because they don't want me to call them corrupt and horrible people. You can let them go back on now. I'll get off. No, I just looked up. That's a lot of cameras. Who the hell can do this 2-3 times a day? One little mistake. If I pronounce a word slightly wrong, and I tend not to go back because I don't want to go back. I don't want to say, excuse me, let me go. I like to bull through it. So I speak for hours, mostly without a teleprompter, really mostly. One mispronunciation of a word. He's cognitively impaired. He's getting old. He's getting old. He mispronounced a word like the name of the gang, if I did. No, I think I got it perfectly, didn't I? But if they see any, they watch for weeks and weeks. For weeks and weeks, I'm up here ranting and raving. Last night, 100,000 people, flawless, ranting and raving. I'm ranting and raving. Not a mistake. And then I'll be at a little thing and I'll say something a little bit like I'll say, duh. They'll say, he's cognitively impaired. No, I'll let you know when I will be. I will be someday. We all will be someday, but I'll be the first to let you know. But when you can do this 3-4 times a day, and you can go from site to site, from Arizona to Pennsylvania to Michigan, right? And then you have some little writer at the New York Times who's been really bad lately. They follow every single word. Did he get, wait a minute. He said something wrong. I actually say things very right, and they'll use the same story but belittle it like it doesn't exist, but it all exists. But they love it, because Biden was obviously cognitively impaired. She should have reported him because that puts our nation in danger. We've never been so close to being in World War III than we are right now. And don't kid yourself, we have an election coming up, but we still have like 3.5 months left. And it's a long time in a nuclear world. And that would be a war like no other. And I'm not thrilled about the people representing us, even for a short period of time. But I just have to say, because you read so much, and now some people say he's the single greatest speaker of all time. Because you know what? Nobody's ever, I actually asked that question. Hundreds of thousands of people show up, and I assume it's for my looks. But I say, but you know, I said it today to Brandon. I said, you know, Brandon, it's funny. I look outside, you could fill this place up 3 times. If anybody would like to give up your seat, please. But outside it's packed. We put up television screens now. But I said to Brandon just a little while ago, I said, you know, I draw all these people. I don't think I've ever had a story that Trump is a great speaker. I hear about great speakers like Churchill. I hear about a lot of great speakers. But I've never heard that Trump is a great... Uh-oh, now I'm in trouble, because you know what they're going to do? He's comparing himself to Winston Churchill. No, that's what they'll do. And someday they're going to figure... She said, because we love you, and I love you too. No, I've never had a story that and there's a reason these crowds are coming. And someday they're going to figure, she said, because we love you, and I love you too. That's why I come. She said that. How good is that? Where is that woman? Stand up. Oh, stand up. Look at her. Wow. I would say that's beautiful. Is that
okay? So he's having a problem with one of the feeds here. I'll switch it back and forth.
Crazy what's gone on. Have to be politically correct nowadays, and we're going to have something about our military talking about being politically correct, because we have a great military. I knocked out ISIS. I knocked out ISIS so fast. To bring jobs and factories and wealth racing back to our shores. We will have a 15% made in America corporate tax rate. Now you have to understand, I brought it down from almost 40%. And these are corporations. They don't have to be in our country. You know, in the old days, they'd move from state to state. Now they move from take their taxes and raise them. And you know what they do? They'll say, that's okay. Let's go to Ireland. You know, the pharmaceutical industry moved to Ireland. Let's go to Europe. Let's go to Asia. Let's go to China. They want them so badly. So I moved it from 39, almost 40%, down to 21% and got it approved in Congress. But that doesn't make us great. It makes us good. It makes us competitive, sort of more than competitive. It was good. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country when I did that. We took in more revenue at 21 than we did at 39, which was amazing. People were pouring in. But here's what we're doing now. I'm moving it down to 15%, but only for those people who make their products in America. And in other words, a company, and by the way, you're going to see companies pouring back into our country. Somebody said, what are you going to do about the debt? We have a lot of debt, a lot of debt. And we were doing this, and then we got the China virus stuff, and that came out of nowhere. And we had to focus on that because people, and I wasn't really, other countries suffered so badly. Other countries, proportionally, they suffered worse than us. Who suffered worse than us proportionally? It's China. So, it's like one of those things. But, so we had to focus on that. We did a great job in that. We never got credit. We never got credit for that, but we did a great job on that. Nobody knew what the hell it was. It came in. Our famous operation, they call it Operation Warp Speed. Operation Warp Speed gets military credit for being one of the most incredible things that they've ever seen, distribution of things. But we did a great job, and we got that. We handed over a country that was better. The stock market was higher than it was just previous to COVID coming in. So we did a great job. But we were in the process of doing this, and a friend of mine called up from Wall Street. He's considered a brilliant analyst. He said, like the other one, he said, where did you come up with the idea of taking it down, but only for companies that make their product? He said, that's a great idea. Can you imagine? You have all these 185 IQ people on Wall Street. That's sort of the ultimate. I think they say, you know who the smartest person they say in history was? Albert Einstein. He said Trump. I agree with him. He said Trump. My uncle, Dr. John Trump, MIT, 40 years. That's pretty smart. He was smart. My uncle was very smart. He used to tell me things a long time ago about nuclear. He said, someday, son, they'll have a weapon that you'll be able to carry into a building like a handbag, and it will blow up New York City. I said, Uncle John, that's never going to happen. He's the longest serving professor in the history of MIT, like 40 years or 41 years. Can you imagine? So this is good. Does anybody believe in genes? You guys believe in genetics? These guys have good genetics too for safety, and that's all we want you for. We don't want you for anything else. We don't want you for anything else. But for those who, but they were asking me, where did you come up with this idea? It's just an idea. And you only get it if you make your product here, because we want jobs. We want jobs. It's about jobs. It's not about the products. But then we have to protect those companies that move in and the companies that we have. The auto industry has been wiped out. We will have more auto jobs than we did. It's my biggest ambition, have more auto jobs than we did 50 years ago in the prime. We are a tiny fraction of what we used to be, a fraction. And companies are going to move in at a level that nobody's ever seen, but we have to protect them. So how do we protect them? With tariffs. If you don't move your plant into the United States, we put tariffs. You're not going to make your car in China. I already did that, 27.5% tariff. Do you know Biden never took it off? Because if he ever did, it's so much money. But also, if he ever did, our country would be just overrun. We would have a country that was overrun with Chinese cars pouring in, and Detroit would be finished. It's almost finished now. You know, they lost 30,000 workers. They go to the all-electric mandate where everybody has to have an electric car. I have to be very careful because Elon endorsed me. But can I tell you, he understands it. It's not for everyone. What he does is incredible. The car is incredible. What he does, and you know the beautiful thing, he endorsed me. He's in Pennsylvania right now, and I should be there probably. Maybe, I don't know. Well, I hear we're leading so much. I hear we're leading in your great state by so much. But I said, nope. We're going to be here. We're going to do it just the way we want to do it, and we're going to be in Pennsylvania a lot over the next 3 days. But he never once said, and you know, this is a tribute, but look at the rockets coming in. He never once said to me, would you do me a favor? Could you lay off the electric car? No, the electric car is beautiful. It's great, and it's got a great market. It's going to do great. They're all going to do, I think it's great, but not 100%, because they're going to be made in China, most of them, because that's where we have a thing under our feet. It's called oil and gas. I call it liquid gold. So if you don't mind, we'll use that. And we're going to have hybrids. We're going to have electric. We're going to have everything. We're going to have gasoline-propelled cars. We have one other thing. You know about the new one that's come along? Does everyone know about hydrogen? We have a new technology that's coming along. It's coming along beautifully, Cash. It's coming along beautifully. It's hydrogen. It has one minor problem. It blows up. And when it blows up, and it doesn't happen often, like maybe one car a day. And when it blows up, you are unrecognizable. They call your wife, would you please come down to see if this is your husband that's laying next to a tree? And the wife goes over and said, no, I don't recognize that man. He's gone, whoever the poor guy is. No. So I'm not going to go heavy into hydrogen, if you don't mind, but electric and all. But we want to do this. We're going to move so many car companies are going to come back. They're going to come back from Germany. They're going to come back into our great country. And I will tell you that we will have a golden age. It just started. We have a golden age. And you know, if you look at the Teamsters, did you see the Teamsters? They voted. The rank and file voted for Trump. The firemen voted for Trump. The policemen and women voted for Trump. Amazing. The firemen and women hadn't voted for a Republican ever. It goes back a long time. Firemen and women, that goes back a long time. They voted for Trump. Can you imagine? The rank and file. And the Teamsters, I don't think they ever did either, but they voted for Trump. We got 61% of the vote. 61% of the vote. So there's something happening. It's changing. You know, I watch these people talking on television. They say there's a change, and there is a change. You know what the change is? They want to see our country be great again. They want to make America great again, and they're seeing it. And they want to see our country be safe, too, and it's going to be safe. Because of them, it's going to be safe. So for all of this to happen, the car companies come back, our country be safe, Arizona must get out and vote. You got to get out and vote. That's all I don't want your money. Don't give me your money. We don't need money. We need votes. Got to get out and vote. All you need to do is make sure a couple of things happen. For instance, this woman that I just mentioned, Kari Lake, she's running. She did so well. She's been an incredible candidate. If you looked at their last race, that was a great race. But I want to just, if you don't mind, I'm going to have Kari Lake come up just for a couple of seconds and say a couple of words. You got to vote her in. You got to vote her in. Okay. careful. I said, be careful, Carrie, because that blows it.
Click that like button.
If you fall, that blows it.
We love you. Mwah. Oh, my goodness, do we love this man? You know, I used to say, after the first term of President Trump, we just witnessed one of the great presidents in American history. And now I say, this is the greatest president in American history. But I think it goes further than that. I think we are in the midst of one of the greatest leaders in human history, and his name is Donald J. Trump. This guy right here. But we got to get out and do our part. He's done so much work for us. Now each and every one of us has to do our part. That means we get out and we vote early. Can you do it? And then we call, how many of you have 10 friends? Okay. How many of you have 5 friends? Call every friend in your contact list and make sure they're going to get out and vote for Donald J. Trump and Carrie Lake for U.S. Senate. I want to go to Washington, D.C. and help President Trump secure our border, make our state safe again, make our state affordable again, and make our kids have access to the American dream. We love you, President Trump, and we're going to win Arizona for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Carrie, thank you. Yeah, she's great. She loves the state. She wants to see a very safe place, and that's going to happen. So thank you very much, Carrie. We're also pleased to be joined by Senator Mike Lee, a fantastic guy. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. And also we have members of Congress. They've become such friends of mine. For whatever reason, I like these members a lot. From your state, Andy Biggs. Thank you. Warrior. He's a little on the conservative side, right? And that's okay, right? You know what he is? He's on the common sense side. Because that's what I say, we're the party of common sense more than anything else, right? So thank you very much. Great job. Blake Moore. Thank you. Thank you, Blake. Thank you. Celeste Malloy. Celeste. Paul Gosar. I love this guy. I love that guy. You talk about a fighter. Boy, he is some fighter. He fights everybody. He doesn't care. He just wants the state to be good. State or country. I think state maybe even in your case comes before the country. We got to talk about that. This guy, stand up once again, quick. Come on, stand up. There are a few like him. Right, Andy? Thank you. Great job you're doing. Thank you. Eli Crane. Great. Doing a fantastic job. And we have a very popular candidate. I don't even know why it's candidate. I mean, I feel he's been there for a long time. He's done really a fantastic job. Abe Hamadeh. Thank you. Feels like you've been there a long time, eh? And the chairwoman of the Yavapai Apache tribe, Tanya Lewis. Tanya, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tanya. Oh, beautiful. You look great. Thank you, darling. Also, we have many Azerasians in our room. We have some incredible people in our room. We have so many that we just can't. But we have some people in our room that I'm not going to mention and they fully understand why, because I don't have time. But Robert O'Brien I'm mentioning because he's the one that got the 300 plus people. So Robert O'Brien, please stand up. Thank you. And Rick Grinnell, is Rick here? What happened to Rick? What happened to Rick? Oh, he's in trouble. Attorney General Sean Reyes. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Raul Labrador. Thank you very much. Thanks. And Glenn Beck. I'm going to be doing his show. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Glenn. And two guys that are definitely strong people, Dave Riley and Dave Sparks, also known as Diesel Brothers. The Diesel Brothers. And Gold Star father, Darren Hoover, and mother, Kelly Barnett. They're here, and they're incredible people. I've gotten to know them. Taylor Hoover gave his life in Afghanistan. And thank you both very much. Thank you very much. Great young guy. Should have never happened. Should have never happened. They should have been at Bagram, and they should have done it properly. They didn't do the right job, but we appreciate it. It's great knowing you, too. Gotten to know them. Gotten to know a lot of the 13 families and the incredible people. Should have never happened. It was gross incompetence. Number one, you don't take your soldiers out first. You take them out last. That was the start. But we appreciate it very much, and we'll see you again soon. I also want to send our love back to everyone in the East affected by the terrible recent hurricanes, and God bless you all. They've gone through a lot. Thank you. So, in closing, I just want to say Kamala Harris is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas. Do you know who Pocahontas? She cost a typical American family $29,000 worth her inflation nightmare. It cost you $29,000. You wouldn't have had inflation. You wouldn't have had Ukraine being attacked by Russia. You wouldn't have October 7th with Israel. It wouldn't have happened. You wouldn't have had that horrible, we were leaving Afghanistan, we would have left with dignity and strength, and we would have kept the Bagram, the big air base that we gave up to China. China now has it. Congratulations. The reason we should have kept it is because it was 1 hour away from where China makes their missiles. And just a horrible thing that we did. This group of people, and nobody gets fired. That's why nobody writes books about this guy. Well, number one, they wouldn't be buying them probably anyway, but nobody ever gets fired. Every general in that deal should have been fired. Every single general. You know, I defeated ISIS rapidly. We did it in a matter of weeks. It was supposed to take years. We have a great military, but we defeated. But you know, with Biden, they have all those mistakes made constantly on inflation, on everything's a mistake. Nothing works that he does. Nothing works. Nobody ever gets fired. I think he does that to avoid the bad books. But it's a terrible thing. When you do a bad job, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. But Kamala was an original creator. I'm sure Border Patrol and ICE would like to hear this, of defund the police. She wanted to have defund the police. She was one of the people in charge. She was a proud defunder of the police. And by the way, anybody who wants to defund the police, even if it was for a short time, and in her case it was many years, is not worthy of being President of the United States. Kamala Harris vowed to abolish ICE, their friends. She wants to ban fracking. As California Attorney General, she redefined, check, and this is like crazy, child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person. She redefined them as totally nonviolent crimes. Now, remember, she changed all of it. She's a different one. A year ago, if you looked at the debate where she was the first one to lose, she never got to Iowa. Great state, we love Iowa. See, now I don't have to go there because I've given it the kudos that it deserves. It's a great place, but we're leading by so much we don't have to go. Thank you, Iowa, I love you. But she never got to Iowa. She was out in the primaries. She was the first one out of 22. She got thrown out, and now here she is. She pledged to confiscate your guns and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. But think of it. 15 different things she changed. She took things, now she thinks fracking is wonderful. Now she thinks the ownership of a gun is a wonderful thing. She said, oh, I have one. What kind is it? Let me think about that. She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention, all at taxpayer expense. And she wanted to turn, but we're not going to let her. We'll get there in time. By the way, they're incapable of doing this anyway. Our military will never be woke. A couple of the losers on top, but will never be woke. It will never be woke. Take a look at this on the beautiful screen behind me. Take a look.
All right, so this is where he goes in for a couple minutes and he talks about Full Metal Jacket, the movie. And he's got some rather unflattering cuts of the guys on, how can I say this? Guys, some Transformers who are in military uniform, and then they do that quick change thing on TikTok where they're looking like soldiers, and then they do the quick change and they come back looking like RuPaul. So the problem I'm having right now is that you can't show the actual clip of the movie. I mean, YouTube would basically freak out if you were showing copies of a movie on, on their stream. So I just can't do that, and I definitely don't want to show these Transformers because they would hate that too. They would accuse me of body shaming or whatever they're going to call it. But as soon as he gets back to the mic after he shows this stuff, then we will indeed get cut right back to him. You won't miss anything that he says. It's just so disheartening seeing this DEI crap in the military. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. My dad served in the military. My brother is still in the military, went to West Point. And this is not what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be dudes dressing up like you-know-what and being Transformers in the military. He's back, ready to go.
All right. We won 2 world wars, and then we changed the name of bases. Can you imagine? And in North Carolina, they want the name Bragg. We took it out, Fort Bragg. It's now got a different name. It's now got a different name. We'll have to see about that. I think we're going to change that name back. And Kamala also lied about, I hate to bring it up because it's sort of so simple. They could say, oh, he speaks in such simple terms. But she said she had a job at McDonald's, and it was a lie. She never worked at McDonald's. So I bring it up. Oftentimes, it's the best thing you can say. No, she lied about McDonald's. I think next week or shortly thereafter, I am going to McDonald's to stand over the French fries so I can see how hard her job that never turned out would be. And by the way, the head of the Republican Party in Arizona is here. Please stand up. What a job you're doing. What a job. I just spotted you. Wow. And I hear we're doing well, huh? It's good. Yeah, we hear good things. Early voting, we hear get out and vote, get out and vote. Thank you. Great job you're doing. With your vote this November, we're going to defeat this radical left country destroyer. We're going to finish what we very brilliantly started. We had something going. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had the best we've ever had, but the best. We had the safest border, the best border, the fewest people, the fewest drugs. We were watching the drugs. Human trafficking, which is mostly in women, unfortunately. It's vicious. Mostly in women. We had everything down to the lowest numbers they've ever seen. We will quickly become energy independent again. Think of it. We were energy independent 4 years ago. But we will immediately frack, and drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill, baby, drill. And I will cut your energy prices in half within 12 months. Everybody in this room, within 12 months, we have liquid gold, and we can do anything. We buy our oil from Venezuela. We call it Venezuelan tar. It's tar. And you have to take it and heat the hell out of it. What a mess. Goes right up for those environmentalists. If you are an environmentalist, it goes right up. And you know where it's done? In Houston. Because it's the only plant that can do it. It's the only plant that's equipped to do it. I will cancel Kamala Harris's insane electric vehicle mandate immediately. All forms of cars. Because a couple of people told me they don't want to stop 12 times to take a drive to Washington. You don't want to drive to various parts of the country when you can drive and have gasoline left over. You don't want to stop 19 times. I will stop outsourcing and turn the U.S. into a manufacturing superpower. That's going to happen because what I told you about the cars is applicable to every other industry. We're going to have so many new businesses. You're going to be calling me. Remember, I used to talk about winning, right? Same thing. Please, sir, please, we can't take any more companies coming into America. It's too many, sir. It's no good. They're coming in from Germany. They're coming in from Japan. Sir, we can't take it anymore. We can't take the jobs. We can't take the money that we're making. We never made so much damn money. Everybody wants us to work there, sir. They're paying us anything. Please stop, sir. We can't take it anymore. Remember, we used to do that with winning. You're going to win so much, and I'd have one of your senators. I'd have cash come in. I'd have all these guys come in. They'd probably have to send Sheriff Joe because he's the one that gets to me better than anybody, probably. They'll send, and Sheriff Joe and Brandon and Carrie, they'll all come in and they'll say, sir, remember, we're winning too much, sir, we can't take it. Because we've been a loser for so long. And we used to joke, and we weren't joking because we were winning like we never won before. Our economy became the best economy we've ever had. We were doubling up on China. China paid us hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs. No other president got 10 cents from China. And I got along with them great until COVID, and then I said, that's a bridge too far. I will end the war in Ukraine, stop the chaos in the Middle East, and prevent World War III. I will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect that they so dearly deserve. That includes you guys, okay? That includes, does that include us? Yeah, you're top of the list. We will strengthen and modernize our military. You know, I rebuilt the entire U.S. military. Now we have to do it. I didn't know that they were going to give such a big chunk for no reason whatsoever to Afghanistan. Tanks, planes, even goggles, the best goggles. Now they became night fighters. Isn't that wonderful? But we gave them 777,000 guns and rifles. Think of that. First of all, how many did they need? 777,000 guns, 70,000 cars and vehicles. Many of them are armor plated, cost millions of dollars to build them. And they have them, and they just had a parade 3 weeks ago. Did you see going down their main thoroughfare? It wasn't particularly beautiful. And they were showing off all the equipment. Did you see that? It was disgusting to me. I look at that, I get disgusted and angry. Sometimes, you know, I make these speeches and we try and make the best out of a bad situation, but sometimes I get very angry by the end because I say, it's really crazy. You know, you go over the things they did, like the border, but you go over the things and you get damn angry because they're just grossly incompetent. They've actually destroyed. We're going to stop it. We're going to turn it around. But what they've done toward the destruction of our country is not even believable. It's not thinkable. We'll build a missile defense shield, all of it made in the USA. We're entitled to it, too. It was our technology. And we will rebuild our cities, including our once beautiful capital. Right now, it's got graffiti all over the beautiful marble. It's got the medians falling down on our roads. It's got potholes all over the place. We're going to take over our capital. We're going to make it so beautiful. We'll have a committee. We'll get rid of these people that are allowing crime to flourish. You can't go there. It's so dangerous. We're going to rebuild our cities. We're going to make our cities great again, too. Our cities are suffering tremendously. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity out of our schools. And we will keep men out of women's sports. I guarantee you that. I will defend the Second Amendment, protect religious liberty, restore free speech, and we will secure our elections and they will be secure once and for all. Under the Trump administration, we will put American citizens first, American children first, American patients first, American taxpayers first, American workers first, and American communities first. We will put them first. We love those people. And we will put communists, Marxists, and fascists last. And we'll keep them there, too. We're going to put them last and keep them there. We will defend our territory. We will defend our families. We will defend our communities. We will defend our civilization. We will not be conquered. We will not be occupied. We will not be invaded. We will reclaim our sovereignty. We will reclaim our nation. And I will give you back your freedom and your life. We're going to give you back your freedom. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive. And every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda once and for all. And we want a landslide election, and I believe something's brewing like that. That's too big to rig. Too big to rig. Early voting is underway. Get everyone you know and get out and vote. We cannot take a chance. After all we have been through together, we've been through so much. We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. We're going to make them the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. With your help, from now until Election Day, we will redeem America's promise, and we will take back the nation that we love. Nothing will sway us, nothing will slow us, and no one will stop us. We will press forward toward our magnificent American destiny, and together we will win, win, win. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country, and together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. Wealthy, wealthy, wealthy. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Arizona. Thank you. God bless you all.
All right, so Trump goes for a little over 2 hours in Arizona, brings the heat. This might have been the first time I've heard Trump mention very directly the communists. I mean, he hit the communism very hard. He hit the gang stuff very hard. He also basically went after everything that Kamala is doing, and I think this is part of his closing moments. He's starting to close out the campaign, bringing the heat, coming hard with it, and letting everybody know, not taking any prisoners. Doesn't care about the media, doesn't care about anything about closing this thing out. And there he is just jamming. Dude's feeling it. He's feeling it. He looks relaxed. He looks happy. He's dancing. He feels it. Put yourself in this man's shoes. You got people he's dancing all over the place. You got people all over trying to take him out. You know, it has to be, I just can't imagine having that on my shoulders, knowing that at any moment somebody's trying to jump out the side of something and end my life. And this guy is out here talking, got some big dudes around him this time. And the guy in the black hat, I wonder what kind of special forces type of guy he is, but it's not. Look at it. That guy in the red tried to get close. They blocked him off pretty quick. He's got some like Rambo security around him right now, which he needs. Oh, he's kissing a baby. He picked up a baby. He's dancing with the baby. I love how the Secret Service is like, oh my God, dude, get out of here. Get out of here. Put the baby back. He picked up a baby. He picked up a baby. You see what he's doing? He picked up a frickin' baby. I could not imagine having the job of protecting this guy and having to, watch every nook and cranny, make sure everything is perfect, and then a dude stops and picks up a baby. Unbelievable. He doesn't care. He knows he's got it. We just got to make sure we vote. We got to make sure that we come out hard against all this stuff. Kamala's out there giving a speech, and all she can do is just make stuff up. Now, I'll talk about it probably tomorrow, but now she's out there making speeches saying, he's afraid of me. He won't come out and afraid. He's hiding. And I'm thinking, what kind of freaking idiot must you be to consider Donald Trump talking in front of 100,000 people yesterday in Coachella, calling that man afraid? How stupid must your audience be to think this man is afraid? Man, she's lost. And now we've also got the media. You see their new attack net lately? So, Kamala Harris released her health information. When's Donald Trump going to release his medical information? And people are like, it's too late. You lost. There's nothing you're going to pull out your hat. There's nothing. You brought out, baby Barack Obama, and he couldn't do anything but piss the black people off. Just completely pissed them off. They're done. You know what was funny? Did I save this? I wanted to show you guys something. While he was talking, I saw something. Yeah, let me see if I can download this really quick. Show you my skills here in terms of being able to bring in different content. I just said this to you. If you guys came in late and you didn't see what I said I don't care about any polls. I don't care about anything because they're all full of crap. Because until somebody can actually acknowledge what the heck is going on with the black community and Hispanic community, every single poll I see is complete crap. All of it. It's crap. And so, as I'm basically just scrolling while waiting for Donald Trump to finish talking, because that's what I often do here, this pops up by none other than a CNN pollster. Listen to this.
I mean, the bottom line is this. At this particular hour, if you believe the polling, Donald Trump's going to put up the best performance with black voters since Richard Nixon back in 1960. Not 68, since 1960. That's 64 years ago. Among Hispanic voters, Donald Trump's going to put up the best performance for Republicans since 2004 and George W. Bush.
All right, so the sound was low, so I'm going to play that again. Let you guys hear this. I just fixed the sound. All right, listen to this.
I mean, the bottom line is this. At this particular hour, if you believe the polling, Donald Trump's going to put up the best performance with black voters since Richard Nixon back in 1960. Not 68, since 1960. That's 64 years ago. Among Hispanic voters, Donald Trump's going to put up the best performance for Republicans since 2004 and George W. Bush.
As they say in all the court dramas, I rest my case. Done, over, kaput. You can't change my mind until somebody can show me how she makes that up. I'll do a whole show on it again tomorrow so you guys can see. But finally, CNN, here it is, October 13th. A little under a month before the election. CNN goes, got something to tell you. Barry's been talking about, the crushing blow that the blacks are going to bring to Kamala Harris. And we checked out what Barry said and they're like, oh shit. He's got the best black voter margin since 1960. That's 64 years, as the man said. Oh yeah, by the way, he's also got the best Hispanic rating since 2004. Who's been telling you that for months? Harry, thank you for finally saying it, because now everybody can know that Barry's been validated. I've been telling you literally for months, she ain't getting the black vote the way the Democrats normally get the black vote. And until you tell me how you overcome that kind of number mathematically, because I am a student of math, you can screw off. I don't care about your polls. I don't care about anything. I don't care what you have to say. I don't care if you say Kamala's doing well with the Eskimos. I don't give a shit. I knew months ago. I kept telling you, she's getting buried with the black vote. What did the man just say? Let me just play it one more time. It's only 10 seconds.
I mean, the bottom line is this. At this particular hour, if you believe the polling, Donald Trump's going to put up the best performance with black voters since Richard Nixon back in 1960. Not 68, since 1960. That's 64 years ago. Among Hispanic voters, Donald Trump's going to put up the best performance for Republicans since 2004 and George W. Bush.
I think I should just post, I'll post that in the Twitter community. You guys all need to see it. Y'all need to join. I'll show you how to. But now do you understand what Barry has been saying? As a black man, who I've been talking to, other black people, and I've been talking to them, hey, what do you think? Oh, yeah, Trump's doing it. Yeah, oh, yeah, Trump's the man. And then every time these polls came out, and I'm like, oh, she's up by 5. She's up by 6. Oh, she's up by 3. Oh, she's up by 7. And I would go, nope, it's bullcrap. Absolute bullcrap. Barry, why would you say that? Because she's losing the black people. She's losing the basically benchmark that all the other Democrats have had for decades. You cannot lose that much of a swath of baked in numbers and taking it off and then say, okay, we're going to replace them with white dudes from Harris? No, can't replace them. We're going to replace them with newcomers? No, can't replace them. That's too big of a gap. You can't over-cheat that. You can't make it up. I'll show you mathematically tomorrow. That's what I will do. I will do a show tomorrow and mathematically show you what every Democrat candidate has done for the last 20 or 30 years. Even the ones like Dementia Joe, who only won by a couple points. Now, if you believe that the cheating was incredible in 2020, if you, like I, understand that they did some amazing tomfoolery to get this guy to be elected at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you believe all that, then you also have to believe the numbers inside that. And the numbers inside that were, he got this much of the black vote to get to that point where they could cheat beyond cheat to get him in. She's getting only this much of the black vote. You see that gap there? I know it's rudimentary. It's my big fluffy fingers here. But that's what I've been telling you guys all along. I'm not a soothsayer. I ain't got a crystal ball. I just do math. And I do math well. I've done math well all my life. And every single poll I watched, every single pundit, blah, 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 blah. And I would just say back to them, what about the black vote? And nobody would address it. What about the Hispanic vote? And nobody would address it. I got another demographic for you. I guarantee you, nobody talks about it. We live down here in South Florida, so I see it all the time. You know, outside of like San Francisco or maybe, Boston, maybe. South Florida's got the biggest concentration of gay people. And the difference is these gay people are businessmen, they're professionals, they got money, they own real estate, and they ain't about the communism stuff. In fact, they're pissed off about the Transformers. And nobody's counting them. Nobody's saying, hey, listen, traditional gay people who just do certain things in their bedroom that are different, but do everything else the same. Hey, have you thought about that? Yeah, there's a bunch of gay people out there that outside of the bedroom, they buy real estate, they invest, they have businesses, they do everything else. And they ain't paying 15, 60% back to the government. They're not communist. Nobody talks about that. They think they have that baked in. Those of you who don't have, and I don't expect you to have, a bunch of gay friends, but you probably have done business with certain gay people. You think they want to pay 60% taxes? You think they want to pay, 40% unrealized capital gains? You think they want to do all that? Let me just tell you, no, they don't. They own real estate, they own businesses, they invest, they have stock, they have all kinds of stuff. It's the nuts who think it's okay. They're the ones who are single issue, orange man bad. He's going to make us all go to reclassification camps. They're the nuts. The real people are like, hey man, I ain't liking this. In addition to not liking the taxation, they don't like the newcomers. Hey man, my family came over here from Cuba. My family came over here from Nicaragua. My family came over here from Haiti. My family came here from Panama. And we all had to go through the front door and do this and this. What the hell are all these people? I bet you there's people in Aurora who were living in those apartment complexes that Martha Raddatz thinks it's no big deal. You know, it's just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, no big deal. Who might have been legal immigrants. Nobody talks about them. Hey, listen, how do you think, these Jamaicans felt who worked, 3 shifts at a restaurant a day? Basically sleep there and come back home, take a shower, go back to work. How about these legal immigrants? Nobody talks about them. You ever notice that? Have you ever noticed that on the news, or the so-called news, they never talk deeply with legal immigrants to ask them how they feel about everything that's happening? I know firsthand. 1939, my dad was born. I think he came over here in 1950 or whatever it was. And, I told you the stories about he opened his own business and his brothers came and his mom and his aunts and everybody came through the front door. Did it all the right way. Raised a family. Opened a business. I can tell you right now, even though he's no longer here, he would be screaming, because he joined the army, he would be screaming at what he'd be seeing. Americans don't want this. Good Americans don't want this. Doesn't care what your denomination is. So, that's what I got to say about it. Let's see here. Yeah. Yes, now you say it. Yeah. I've been saying it. Yeah, I do notice that. They have news by basically omission. If they only tell people this, they think people will just believe this. And they never look the other way and go, but what about these people over here? Oh, they don't count. No, we don't talk to them. Okay, right. Yeah, believe it or not, what this woman says, woman or man, and she says, do it without shoving it down our throats. That's life in South Florida. That is life in certain parts of South Florida, and these are people who've already been involved that way for decades. And you would never know the difference. They don't sit out there with the purple hair and the nose rings and everything else. They go to work. They open the doors to their business. They're managers and CEOs of businesses and corporations. They just happen to have a certain proclivity. It's crazy. Should I ask Trump to do should I do a video about what we should be asking Trump to do for our communities? That would be a really, really, really short video. The reason being is you don't need Trump to do anything for your community. See, what you just said right there is the problem that Democrats have. So I wonder if this was a trick question or did you really mean it? Because your community, wherever you live, is managed and governed by your local government and your state government, not the federal government. That is the trap that the federal government wants to put you in. You need something done? Well, you better go ask the president and, Congress. No, that's not how it's supposed to be. I live in Florida. It's funny. Ashley just got on a plane to head home. That's why I was a little bit late today. So she gets on a plane to head home. She texts me from the airport. She goes, I can't believe it was so smooth going from the Uber to the checkout line to security and at the gate. That's because it's a well-run state. You don't see a whole bunch of pictures and videos of people clamoring right now for I need this, I need that from the hurricane. Why? Because the part that the governor was supposed to do is basically make sure there were guys staged, make sure there was this, make sure that was that. He ran the show. He kept saying it. I'm in charge, not them. Come to me. You have a request. I'm your governor. I'll go get money or if I need federal resources, but in your local community, you go to the people you voted in. That's why you voted them in. What you want from a president, or should want from a president, is to make sure my community is safe from foreign invaders. Make sure that my government and local government have the resources they need to get shit done. The president isn't the mayor of your town. The president isn't the police commissioner. The president isn't any of that. The president needs to be away from your local community. You need to vote for competent people to run your community. That's the problem. That's the problem with cities like Chicago, where they keep voting in mayors that have no clue what they're doing. They keep voting in some of these red areas. They vote in people, again, just because they're black or Hispanic. When you vote that way, you're dependent upon somebody being able to do something. And they have no clue what they're doing. None whatsoever. The gay people that I know are very protective of children. Yep, absolutely. They don't want this stuff. In fact, many of them feel it's a bad look upon them because they get associated with the nuts. I can't tell you how many people are like, man, I am so sick of this. I am so sick of them blaring this thing down people's throat. Here's the thing with that. We've heard it many, many, many times. Even Lady Gaga wrote a song about it. Born that way. Well, if you're born that way, why are you blowing a horn in my face telling me I need to accept it? I wasn't born that way. If I'm not born that way, why do I need to accept it? You do your business, I'll do mine. See, something's not working right there where they have to scream it at you. Hey, it's month of June and you got to do everything we want because you need to understand, we sleep with each other. I don't need to know that. I go to a restaurant. I see a date. I see a man and woman, man and woman, man and woman, man and man, woman and woman. I don't need to walk up to you. Hey, man, you sleeping with her? Dude, I don't know because you haven't told me. This guy over here with purple hair, he's told me these are my pronouns and this is how you have to treat me. But you haven't told me, so I don't know. What? It's none of my business? Oh, yeah, you're right. I don't give a shit. It is none of my business who the two you guys are doing. And it's none of my business what y'all doing. So why you got to tell me? Why do you have to run it down my throat and paint all these different things and do all this stuff and craziness? What, when the people over here are living their life the way they want to live it, they may be dominatrixes and all kinds of stuff, but you know what? They're not telling me. That's their business. They're just having dinner together. Over here, you're over going, clown show. And then telling me I can't look. Man, you acting like a clown over there. Oh my God, you just dead name me. You slut shame me. And my pronouns are fee, fi, and fo, and sometimes fum. I can't deal. I can't deal with you nuts. Absolutely. What happens in that bedroom, that boudoir, is your business, unless of course you're doing a Tim Waltz imitation. Then I got a problem. Then we need to talk. No, we need to do more than talk. Now I need to, do something to you. But that's a whole different story. Ram it down Kamala's throat. We ain't interested. Yeah, he's not interested. I mean, that's really interesting, is that you say it that way. I don't want it in my face. Is that most of you would probably be very happy living your life, never seeing a Transformer. You're not going to any Transformer shows. You're not gonna, look at some Transformer movie. You don't need to see Transformer commercials. What are you trying to convince me of? Now you will turn on the television and you see every other commercial. Number one, they're people of color, and they look like you, and they also happen to be of a certain proclivity. Why? Why can't you just tell me that, hey, here's the product. Product works. It's very good. Yeah, it tastes great. Why does it have to be a product that certain people use? Don't everybody use, detergent? I mean, seriously. Oh, it smells good. That's fine. Hey, it works. It cleans your clothes. You smell good. You shower. You shampoo. Do I care what you're doing in the shower with whomever? Or you just care that the shampoo works? Is your hair different? I mean, just because you do different things, No, I'm pretty sure. Just tell me it works. No head, no shoulders, whatever it is. It doesn't make any sense. There's an agenda. And that agenda is to turn America upside down, inside out. And it's been working. And that's another reason why they don't like Trump, because it's not about the proclivity. It's about stopping people from, It was funny. I took my grandson today to buy a suit for homecoming. And as we're walking in, I saw something so refreshing that you don't ordinarily see anymore because, it's like taboo. And there was a maternity shop next to where we were shopping for the suit. And as I looked over, I saw a woman walking into the store, and she was bumped. She had the baby bump. And on the sign, it said, and no, not kidding here, it said, "Birthing people rejoice." And the woman walked up to the store, looked at the sign and went, shook her head and walked away. I don't want to go to a store that celebrates birthing people. I want to go to a store that celebrates a mom, a woman getting ready to have a child, not a birthing place, not some place where it's cosplay, where you're basically, because it's October, it's Halloween, and you want to go to a birthing place. No, it's a place for mothers. And I loved it where she just went, she threw her hands up, like, I'm not going in there. And I looked over and I just kind of laughed. I thought it was just funny. People have had it. They've absolutely had it. That store lost money. And she's just walking in, she had a couple ladies with her, and obviously she's close, and so she was kind of doing the waddle. And she looked up at that sign and it said, "Birthing people welcome." And turned around, flew her hands up in the air, and walked the other way. And I was like, "You go, girl. You go." I'm tired of this stuff. All right, so before I go here, thank God for moms. Yeah, none of us would be here if not for a mom. I mean, needed a dad too, but for the most part, mom. You got to give moms props, not birthing people's. No, that ain't working. I want to show you something and get y'all to basically, this thing is exploding today. Thank you very much. Love the fact that you guys are doing this, but I want to show you, this is my big mug on X. There were a lot of comments in the chat about how you go to Twitter/X. Well, you just have to go to x.com. That's where you start. Go to x.com, and if you go to x.com, you either log in or join. It's free. That's all you got to do is, basically put in your email, your name, and a handle, blah, 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 blah. If you are a member, you'd like to join our private community, you just go here. If you go to my profile, Barry Cunningham, very simple, at Barry Cunningham. And down below here, you're going to see something that says Fanfare Patriots. And that's the new private community where I can talk privately and not have to say birthing people. And I don't have to say Transformers. We can say what we want and we can do what we want in there. And just in the last couple hours, we have 1,200 people. Thank you very much. And it's free for now. And once you're in, you'll never have to pay. But it's free for people to join. And if you join and you get in here, you're going to see there's my mug. That's me today, doing a welcome video and posting some comments and posts to begin. And what's really interesting and what it's different than YouTube is this is me. I was putting content in to seed it. And then what happened was people started posting. You see, on YouTube, you can't do this. You can leave a comment, and that's it. But as Beth's here, Beth posted a picture. You know, and she's creating content for the community. The community responds with 100 likes and comments, and then Kat Snow, she posted something. That's what's so much different than on YouTube. YouTube, like you're seeing in chat, you can post a comment. That's it. On Twitter, you all now get to create. Brad Bennett, he keeps posting. There's Beth again with another picture. JL, he posted something that was on his personal profile and brought it over. Kat Snow again. So these are all, everything you're seeing right now is from other members. They're posting videos in here. That's me and Brad Bennett again. So it is not just me talking. Whereas when you come here and subscribe, it's just usually me. This is everybody else. All your other members are interacting and talking and posting stuff. And the great part about it is, you can post. Don't post cat videos and stuff like that. But if you see something in the news, post it. Let us see it. We don't. We're not on it 24/7. Your other co-members may like something, and if enough people like it, I may look at it and go, yeah, maybe I need to make a YouTube video about it. But I'm loving it that people are in here just posting different things, and it's crazy. Like here's one. I like this. Laura Williamson. Just to intro myself, she's, hey, new member. We are Southern, living on Social Security. Thank God the house is paid for. Good thing we like dried beans and cornbread. We're eating a lot more meals like this lately. It still looks great, though. Laura, looks great. And, that's how you can she posted content you can't post on YouTube. I'm posting content I could post on YouTube, but I'm also going to post content that I can't possibly talk about on YouTube. Thank God for Elon Musk. We can talk freely. The only thing I ask you is don't attack another member. Be cordial, and there's certain keywords I've blocked. You can't use the N-word. Can't use the F word, stuff like that. But if you want to post something and say, what Kamala said today is an insult to me, what do you guys think? Put it in there. I welcome the interaction. I still love, of course, my interaction on these videos, but as you see, whenever we're talking on here and basically posting comments, that's it. It's text. Now you can be a content creator and start posting things as well. It's very simple. My mom, God rest her soul, would have knocked me out into the next month if I called her a birthday person. Jim's mom would have done the same to him. Absolutely. Absolutely. She's your mom, not your dad mom, or whatever they do. And so while Trump's been talking, SV and Ashley's on a plane, so she couldn't do it, but SV's done a wonderful job in going through the backlog of people who had clicked join, but you have to approve each individual person, and then you'll see him and Ashley and my wife and a few other people talking it back and forth. And if there is something that needs to be reported, somebody puts up something you don't like, you see any porn or something, just click the button, report it, and we'll get them bounced out of there. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you all in there, having a good time talking, and basically doing a lot of stuff that we can't do on YouTube. They just won't let me. So let me go ahead and acknowledge the super chats, and then I have to see if Ashley got off. Everything's okay on the plane heading back to North Carolina. We had a great weekend together. Sucks that it was only a weekend. All right, here we go. Marcus Anderson, an illegal newcomer, told me he's voting for Trump. Oh gosh, that's funny. Just another knucklehead. JD, nice. Oh yeah, that was against that Martha Raddatz idiot. Moshe G, value is a beast. He destroyed her. Vance, I believe, what you meant. Marcus Anderson, if you let the third world in, we will have third world problems that will destroy USA from within. Absolutely. Just another knucklehead. Thank you again. What story would they run if the apartment dwellers defended themselves? Wow. Good point. Oh, so they tried to take over this apartment complex, and the residents fought back, and a bunch of these guys aren't here anymore. Film at 11. How would they have reacted to that? Good point. But then again, it is Colorado. I don't even know if you're allowed to carry there. But, of course, the Trace Laches don't care. Wanda, man arrested outside of Trump's, with multiple fake IP. Yep, third attempt. There we go. Acid burn, I'm calling it grandfather factor on change. Marshall Buquifort. Barry, I've seen a documentary that Hurricane Milton was fabricated. I posted it on X. I don't think you meant fabricated. I think you meant created, steered. But fabricate means it was false, but it actually did hit. But I've heard that too. Acid burn, they can't change my way of life. I was here first. Good. Acid burn again. Freedom from craziness and corruption to be happy. Marcus Anderson again. Barry researched the third attempt. Yep, I talked about it early in the video, so you may have to rewind, but I might make it its own video. What would happen if he's taken out at any stage? Well, it would be the worst case scenario. If he's taken out, he's no longer a candidate. They'd have to put somebody else in. Don't even want to think about that. Moshe, God controls a man's steps and is protecting Trump for a greater good. I believe that. Davey, get your vote in early. They will do lots of cheating on Election Day. Ronald, thank you very, very, very much. Brad Crane, gangs are a cancer. It will grow until dealt with. Yep. All these people on the news who think it's still a big deal. Wait till it knocks on your door or kicks your door in. Dunn 716. Tim Walz won't be removed because they have him going to campaign Thursday in Lansing, Michigan. Plus, I think it's way too late for him to be removed. Keep up the great work. Yeah, I think they're stuck with him. Now they're just going to hide him. Will Smith, thank you very much. Biden to Hurricane Milton victims who lost homes. I understand mine was struck by lightning. Dude can't even help himself anymore. Yeah, Big Boss Man, thank you. Donna. Every time they try to do something to Trump, it's thwarted. You would think they'd get the hint that God is with this man and back off before they get struck by lightning. Makes sense to me. I mean, thank God he's got some armor around him. Curmudgeon, thank you very much. Bernetta Rivers, stay prayed up and keep the great work, Barry. Thank you. Obama messed up big time. We're not going back to the Democrat plantation. Go vote early. Yeah, we're done. We're done. Many of us are anyways. Susie Bonham, Barry Moore in 2016. No, I said that was a piece from some time ago. But I also said it's even more appropriate right now. Because everything he said in that video is dead on for how things are right now. Deborah Kirby, thank you. The Jade Slade had tickets for the rally and got sick, but I'll walk on my knuckles to cast my vote, sick or not. Absolutely. Bad Boys Automotive, love you, Trump, God bless you. Country Lady, thank you. Donna, again, hypothetically, if Trump loses, we still don't want Kamala in office. The decision is ours, and I believe this is what will lead to a civil war. I'm talking to you, Raskin. They can't stop him. At this point, it would be looking... Put it this way, they're going to have to pull out anything they try. There's nothing left. Since 2016, you've tried everything. Everything. The only thing they had left, and many of us, including Tucker Carlson, said the only thing they have left is to do what they're trying to do. Tim Sperry, Waltz was pulling down his peekaboo shirt. Moto Man, Barry, how can I share that video you played at 5 p.m. when you took a break? I thought it was great. I actually posted it yesterday, but I'll post that in the Twitter group. Mahalia, let me see. I just gotta. I get messages like from Ashley and SV and mods during the show. He's asking me to check out something. What he says. Barry, a user super chatted you yesterday and claims you never acknowledged. His name is TB. Can you give him a shout out? Absolutely. If I missed your super chat yesterday, TB put up $50 and I must have missed it. My bad. Mea culpa. Thank you very, very much. It's greatly appreciated. I'm sorry sometimes. I'm a one-man person. There's no producer sitting over here, and there's no assistants sitting over here. It's me running all these things, pushing all these buttons, and sometimes I miss something. I'm human. I apologize. Thank you very much. Mahalia, thank you. Trisha Whistler, thank you. Fazul, I like that. Thank you. Chris A, thank you very much. Barbara Bonaparte, hey Barry, just here and X, thank you for all you do. Thank you. Ruger's mom, prayers for President Trump. Please restore our country. Thank you. Bob Trump, hope you grow your channel bigger than Rogan. I like your show better. Thank you very much. He's been doing it for a lot longer. I'm coming for him now. I ain't stopping. Donation Corner, promise made, promise kept. Trump 2024, Fresno. Thank you. Donna O'Rear, Barry, I joined when there was only 90. I'm not there and still pending. Why? Do me a favor, Donna, and send me your screen name, because I'm not sure when you posted this. But like I said, SV has been working kind of hard trying to approve everybody. There's still a bunch to approve, so let me know what your screen name is on Twitter, and I'll look it up. Big Cat Brother, thank you. You're awesome, Barry. Raquel Sandoval, Arizona for Trump. We need him. God, please protect him. Absolutely. Went too fast there. Where was that? Okay. Parker Shane, what if Kamala refuses? She can't. She can say she don't want to, then she better resign. I mean, you just can't decide not to. You can do whatever you want. If you want to make it a legal thing and make yourself look stupid, then fine. Marcus Anderson, which we know they're desperate. We know she's desperate. We know that their party basically might be done when they lose. So I would expect her to put up some sort of crazy fight. I expect them to run into court, but they're going to have to get something to the Supreme Court, and then they're done. They're absolutely done. Barron Trump 2042, Democrats never have power again. Greg Drieger, thank you. Danny or Mary Lou Truex, can't wait for your X show. We are all in. Just get over there and get inside there for sure. Isaac Stillman, sinner's conversion. Trump is trusting in God's protection. And Don Delberto, Transformers more than meets the eye. Transformers, two genders in disguise. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Well, this one went for 3.5 hours. Sorry I was late getting in. Had to get the family all settled, but I'm glad I could get on and still continue. Want you guys to check me out tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a regular show, provided Trump doesn't change things. And then tonight what I'm going to do, instead of putting another show here, there's some interesting stuff coming out about Tim Walz. I think we should talk about that tonight. I'm going to go spend some time with the wife, have dinner, and then we're gonna go live inside of Twitter. All right, talk to you guys tonight. Thank you very, very much for tuning in.